Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom to the worldwide family. Peaceful Sabbath day, y'all.
Yes,
as we get about our Abba's business, y'all know how we get down. We turn toward Holy Jerusalem as written in the manuscript in Daniel chapter 6, verse 10. Also 1 Kings 8th chapter. Y'all, we turn toward Holy Jerusalem. Y'all, men are to uncover their head and women are to cover their head when praying or prophesying within the assembly.
Yes, sir.
Y'all, we want to lift our hands up high. We want the Most High to lift us up as well. Y'all, and that's 1 Tim chapter 2, verse 8. So with that, y'all, let's get this feast going.
All right, family. We're going to get this opening prayer. And it's with the Most High's permission. And in the name of his only beloved and begotten Son, our Lord and Savior, Yahushua HaMashiach. And we know him as Jesus the Christ, y'all.
Yes, sir.
Long live the King.
Long live the King.
Reading in the book of Psalms.
Come on.
In the 143rd chapter, it reads, Hear my prayer, O Yahweh. Give ear to my supplication. In thy faithfulness, answer me, and in thy righteousness. And enter not into judgment with thy servant, for in thy sight shall no man living be justified. For the enemy hath persecuted my soul. He hath smitten my life down to the ground.
Yes, sir.
He hath made me to dwell in darkness, as those that have been long dead. Therefore is my spirit overwhelmed within me. My heart within me is desolate. I remember the days of old. I meditate on all thy works. I muse on the work of thy hands.
Sir.
I stretch forth my hands unto thee. My soul thirsteth after thee as a thirsty land. Selah. Selah. Hear me speedily, O Yahweh. My spirit faileth. Hide not thy face from me, lest I be like unto them that go down into the pit.
Yes, sir.
Cause me to hear thy loving kindness in the morning. For in thee do I trust. Cause me to know the way wherein I should walk. For I lift up my soul unto thee. Deliver me, O Yahweh, from mine enemies. I flee unto thee to hide me. Teach me to do thy will, for thou art my Elohim. Thy spirit is good. Lead me into the land of uprightness. Quicken me, O Master, for thy name's sake. For thy righteousness' sake, bring my soul out of trouble. And of thy mercy, cut off mine enemies, and destroy all them that afflict my soul. For I am thy servant. Hallelujah! Shabbat shalom, family.
Woo! Yeah, as we get about our Abba's business today.
That's right.
Once again, shouts out to the worldwide audience. Yes, sir. Shalom, Sister Karen. Shalom. Got plenty of scriptures right there if she need it, or if she just want to follow along. Okay.
And if you have any questions, sister, feel free to ask. We'll be more than happy to go right into this instruction book and get the answers.
All right, y'all. Today's lesson: Why was Levi chosen? So we have to get some clear understanding on this Melchizedek order, which bros taught a excellent introduction into the Melchizedek order last week as we continue this journey to get everybody on point with who our high priest is. Contrary to belief, it ain't no Negroes walking around down here on this earth.
No, it ain't.
For one, because they call it themselves not only double, but triple high priest.
Right.
How is it such a thing?
Man.
So y'all, with today's lesson, we're going to get clear and we're going to show you where Levi was chosen way before we even went into Egypt. So then we'll understand Hebrews 7 a little bit better when it says Abraham paid tithes and Levi. So y'all, we're going to get some clear understanding on why Levi was selected. And but y'all know how we get down, y'all. We got any questions or concerns within the last Sabbath day that's on your heart, mind, or soul before we get going? What you got, sis?
Was Melchizedek an actual person? I know it's supposed to represent the Most High, but in Jasher, was it an actual person of a priest?
Well, the priest at that time who had the garment on him was Shem, Noah's son. So he was the high priest of the Most High under the order of Melchizedek until Christ came. So it would pass generation. It started with Adam. Adam was the first one to wear the Melchizedek priestly garments. Then it passed to his son Seth because Abel was killed by Cain. Seth passed it on to his sons, and Noah got it, and then Noah passed it on to his sons after we got off the ark. Shem passed it to Abraham. Abraham passed it to Isaac. Isaac passed it to Jacob. Jacob passed it to the 12 tribes. Now, Peter speaks of a royal priesthood, but no high priest. We're a royal priesthood under the order of Melchizedek. So technically, we're a little priest, but we could never be a high priest. There's only one after the order of Melchizedek. It's always only been one. So we want to make that clear. David prophesied about him in Psalm 110, even though David was the shadow of the order of king of Melchizedek. He was the shadow of that preceding Christ. Just like Moses was. When we get into the lesson today, you'll see that Aaron was Levi. And Levi was Melchizedek. Way before we ever came out of Egypt. So we're going to get some explanation on that today, and we're going to show why he was chosen. Why did he become the Most High's inheritance? So we clear the matter. We're going to clear up in the late chapters of Ezekiel 2 when you see about Zadok. Zadok is recovering some bad behavior. That's why he was chosen, and we're going to see why he recovered and why the Lord looked upon him to continue to extend the vow he made to Levi when Levi was born, and to Jacob way before we got to Egypt. So y'all, because what we're doing is we're in reverse, but moving forward, but we're moving in reverse, so to speak, because we have to get back to the Garden of Eden with children being born with no sin in the world, and Satan is locked up. That's what we're heading back to. And you can't do that without no law. For sin is what?
Transgression of the law.
Where there's no law, there's no what?
There's no sin.
So you can't have it both ways. So do we got any questions out there too, Bob?
No, sir. So far, so good.
So we're going to go and get right into it, y'all. Y'all know how we get down. Yahushua HaMashiach, locally known as Jesus the Christ, is the high priest after the order of Melchizedek. When he was crucified, that rent the veil where the high priest under the order of Aaron used to go back and offer sacrifice. That was torn in half when he was crucified. That eliminated that order. It slowly just decreased back to where we are now. The order of Melchizedek. The Father, Yahweh, he's Melchizedek. Christ is his high priest after his order. You're my high priest, son. Here's what I command you to teach all the world. We got it? So we're going to move forward, but we're going to get to Levi because Levi got a lot of Hebrews stuck in the middle. Got us stuck in Mount Sinai. Right. Got people running back to Egypt. Right. So y'all, let's get with it.
Get your sick and shut in.
Huh?
Sick and shut in.
Oh, sick and shut in. Boy, look here. Thank you. Y'all, main thing, y'all, family member, y'all, the House of Hill, or Mother Hill, and her daughter, Cyronda. We lost nephew, y'all, a couple days ago. Passed away in his sleep, y'all. And I was Ak Ronald. Y'all, he passed away, and they hurting real bad, y'all. Only brother and sister, and only son of Mother Hill. So, y'all, we asking for strong prayers for them and any of the sick and shut in, y'all. But they truly need it, y'all, because that three been together for a long time.
Long time.
And, you know, it's like a foot cut off now, y'all. So we asking for prayers for that family, y'all. And as we get closer, they're here in STL, so we'll let you know the date of the homegoing service for Brother Ronald. And we're looking at the 28th of this month. That's a Tuesday coming up. So y'all, we'll give you more information. Sister Naomi will get it out to everybody. We got anything else we need to mention?
Just still praying for the house of Uriah.
Yes, sir. Still praying for the house of Uriah.
Kent.
Jake Partner, yeah, Kent. All of them are on the recovery mode. Our sister Stacy, mother is going through the treatments, and it's working out well for her. She's gaining strength every day, y'all, but not out of the woods yet. So, y'all, we need to continue to pray for our family, y'all, because prayer is a powerful weapon, whether we believe it or not.
Yes, sir.
So, y'all, with that, we're going to go ahead and get to it. Why was Levi chosen? So, y'all know how we get down. Christ Yahweh Shai after the order of Melchizedek. And, y'all, everything we teach is coming from the law, not word etymology. We're not going to play word games down here to tell you Bethula or maid mean two different things. It ain't got nothing to do if she's a maid or if she's a virgin. It's got to do if intercourse happens. And there's lawful requirements, whatever you call a woman. It must fit the law requirements so that they're not in transgression. So with that, y'all, we're going to go ahead and get to it. Y'all know how we do it. The law after the order of Melchizedek is male, female, rich and poor, free and bond, Jew or Gentile comes up under the order of Melchizedek. So, y'all, this is before we ever got to Egypt. We're going to get down with Levi. So let's get started right away. We're going to go right back to the book of Hebrews, chapter 7, verse 9 through 17 to get further understanding. Bros did a great job teaching it last week on the order of Melchizedek, but we're going to get to a part that seems to, throw a roadblock in front of everybody. Paul's writing, as Peter said. A lot of people twist his writings to their own destruction. You don't have to twist law. Law is what it is.
Absolute.
It's an absolute. I don't care what kind of word etymology you use. Stealing in all languages or in any country means taking something that don't belong to you, right?
Exactly.
I don't care how you say it. It still is going to come back to a law so you can be judged on the matter.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You ain't going to be able to escape law and judgment. They saying, well, look, I studied it from the Latin version and it didn't say I should be punished.
Right.
Okay. We ain't going to play those games. But let's get right down to it, y'all. Hebrews chapter 7, we're going to start about verse 9. And then we're going to move right into what Paul is explaining. Paul, who was a Benjamite out of the 12 tribes. We started 4, you want too low?
We start at 1.
Start at 1? Okay.
We got to go to
There you go.
Yeah, okay.
All right, family, we're going to be reading in the book of Hebrews, chapter 7, and we'll start the reading in verse 1.
Yes, sir.
Everybody there? I tarry for you, baby. All right. That's my wife, y'all.
Yes,
I said
sir.
baby. That's the only one get that. Baby.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Made me forget where I was.
Yeah.
Hebrews chapter 7 and verse 1.
Uh-huh.
Let's get some understanding, family. For this Melchizedek, king of Salem, priest of the Most High Yah, who met Abraham returning from the slaughter of the kings.
So once again, y'all, we explained that the order of Melchizedek priesthood started with Adam. This is starting off saying, but this Melchizedek, after it was passed down, this is after the flood. This Melchizedek met Abraham coming off the slaughter when he went to get Lot back. Mm-hmm. So this one, that's all it explaining, is this one. It had 200 more before it. Go ahead.
And also understand Salem is the original name for Jerusalem,
That's right.
the city of peace.
Go ahead.
Met Abraham returning from the slaughter of the kings, and blessed him.
And did what?
And blessed him.
Uh-huh.
To whom also Abraham gave a 10th part of all. First being by interpretation king of righteousness, and after that also king of Salem, which is king of peace.
So now we get what the order of Melchizedek is. First being interpreted, so we got to worry about no words of interpretation. First is what is he?
King of righteousness.
King of righteousness.
And after that, also king of Salem,
right?
Which is king of peace.
And like Elijah said, it's all talking about the king of righteousness who will rule Jerusalem. Go ahead.
Verse 3, without father, without mother, without descent, having neither beginning of days nor end of life, but made like unto the Son of Yah, abideth a priest continual.
So it's telling you the order, and it says he's made like unto the Son of God. So it's telling you the priesthood, everybody come through, is made like unto the Son of God, who is the original Melchizedek. Because Christ put the robe on Adam. Christ was in the Garden of Eden. He's the tree of life.
That's right.
That was in the garden. He put the robe on Adam.
That's right.
The Father never gets off his throne. For what? He made subjects.
Right.
If you ran a household, would you be the one to go out and let everybody, grown people, sit in the house? What you create them for? He never gets off his throne. Obama didn't get off his throne when they killed bin Laden, did he?
No.
He watched it though, didn't he?
It
Who
took
gave the
place.
order?
He did.
Obama gave the order. Who carried it out? The Navy SEALs, didn't it?
Yes.
Let's read some more.
Verse 4.
Yeah.
Now consider how great this man was, unto whom even the patriarch Abraham gave the tenth of the spoil.
See, y'all, so it's talking about two different people. It's talking about the Father. It's talking about all Melchizedek mirror the Son of God, who is who?
Yeshua.
Yeshua. So, or Jesus Christ. So everyone mirrors him. So, y'all, the language is going back and forth because he's pushing it all together. But he's talking about three different individuals right here. He's talking about the Father, he's talking about Shem, and he's talking about Abraham, and then they're going to get into the Messiah when we get through, for you not to look at these individuals as the priests anymore, but the one who is the everlasting high priest that David spoke of. From day one. Let's read some more.
Verse 5.
Yeah.
And verily, they that are of the sons of Levi, who receive the office of the priesthood, have a commandment to take tithes of the people according to the law.
According to what?
According to the law. That is, of their brethren, though they come out of the loins of Abraham.
Why do you think Levi, what has he got to do with Abraham and talking about tithing? Abraham is way before we went to Mount Sinai. So is Isaac and Jacob before we went to Mount Sinai. Jacob was 100 and what? He died at 147. He only spent 17 years in Egypt. So 17 miles, he was 130 years old when we went to Egypt. Jacob was. So y'all get that understanding in your mind. We were out of Egypt a long time, but we were still under the Canaanite rule because they still ruled Jerusalem. We have to understand some things around here. David set up the throne in Jerusalem. Let's read some more.
Verse 6.
Yeah.
But he whose descent is not counted from them received tithes of Abraham, and blessed him that had the promises. And without all contradiction, the less is blessed of the better. And here men that die receive tithes, but there he receiveth them, of whom it is witnessed that he liveth. And as I may say so, or as I may so say, Levi also, who receiveth tithes, paid tithes in Abraham.
How is that possible? And Levi is Abraham's grandson, great-grandson. How is that possible? So what we're talking about is the Most High goes back always to the beginning so you get some understanding. Y'all, all this middle work that's being done out here is causing a problem for understanding. You always have to go back to the beginning. Everything Christ spoke, he said, as it was in the what? Beginning. So as it is right now, y'all. We got to think beginning. We got to think the Garden of Eden before sin. That's where our consciousness need to be, before sin. before Adam fell, before Cain killed Abel. We have to think that way because that's where we're going back to. You're not going to a kingdom where you can sin or do whatever you want to do.
Right.
No, that's Satan's kingdom to say, do as thou wilt. Go ahead.
Verse 10.
Yeah.
For he was yet in the loins of his father when Melchizedek met him.
When the high priest of the king of Salem met him at that time. Y'all don't get it twisted that it's just saying Shem is the only Melchizedek. We're talking about current events. We're talking about which priest met Abraham, and that alone.
So if you go back to the beginning, it says this Melchizedek. Right?
Yeah.
Meaning there's a different Melchizedek.
Yeah, distinguishing
So
him.
he's distinguishing one Melchizedek versus another.
That's right. So y'all read in Joshua 16th chapter, y'all see that it was Shem. The book of Joshua explain it. And this book is mentioned in 1 Samuel, 2 Samuel 1:18. Joshua 10:13 tells us to study out of the book of Joshua. But you always have to check the laws on whatever book we study out of, y'all. If that book break the law in one point, you put that book down.
That's right.
If you find law breaking in here, put it down. If you find law breaking in the Apocrypha, put it down. If you find law breaking in the Bible, put it down.
Right.
If you still got it and say it's tampered with or the law break, you at least owe yourself to scratch holy off. Why? Because holy means set apart. Set apart from the regular world. How you gonna have holy on it if it's the same as the Quran?
Right.
If it's the same as the Latter-day Saints? How can it be called holy and they not be called holy too, full of their lies?
Right.
Well, how can the Most High be considered omnipotent
Yeah,
if his word is tampered with?
that's right. Don't make sense, y'all. Don't go for it. Only thing tampered is their mind. Go ahead. Tampered with, I should say. Go ahead.
Verse 11. If therefore perfection were by the Levitical priesthood.
What priesthood?
Levitical priesthood.
What priesthood did we start off understanding? The Melchizedek priesthood.
Right.
So now we switch to Levi, which is the priesthood, the Levitical priesthood, meaning that there was a priesthood put on him. What we're going to get to today is let you know what priesthood was put on him first. And that was Melchizedek. That's right. Let's read some more.
If therefore perfection were by the Levitical priesthood, for under it the people received the law, what further need was there that another priest should rise after the order of Melchizedek, and not be called after the order of Aaron?
See, that's a question. Why do we even look for Melchizedek if Aaron is solid?
Right.
Perfect.
Perfect. We don't need another one, do we?
Right. If it ain't broke, don't fix
If
it.
it ain't, boy, say it again.
If it ain't broke,
Don't fix it. So apparently there was a break in the Levitical priesthood. Go ahead and read it. It's going to tell us.
Verse 12.
Yeah.
For the priesthood being changed.
For the law being changed.
For the priesthood being changed.
So there was a change in the priesthood.
Exactly.
What priesthoods are we talking about, y'all? So everybody stay on point.
Yeah, Levitical priesthood.
And Melchizedek. Go ahead.
For the priesthood being changed, there is made of necessity a change also of the law.
So the law had to change through necessity. You know why? Because Deuteronomy 18 said Moses and his brothers, Aaron, them were the priests. But Moses told you in the law, there's another priest coming.
Deuteronomy 18:15.
Yes, sir. Joshua said, there's another priest coming that we have to bow to. You don't bow to other angels, but Joshua bowed when the angel told him you on a holy ground.
Yeah.
Moses bowed. So we understand, even though Moses was the lawgiver, he said there's somebody else in between me and the Father. And they kicked their shoes off.
That's right.
You don't kick, Abraham ain't never, did Abraham kick his shoes off for Melchizedek?
No.
Do we read that anywhere?
No.
Let's read some more.
Verse 13.
Yeah.
For he of whom these things are spoken pertaineth to another tribe.
Another tribe of the 12 tribes, like Moses said in Deuteronomy 18. He's coming of our brethren. That's the 12 tribes.
That's right.
That don't include some Quran talking about the tribe of Shabazz.
Right.
Don't know where that's at. Last Shabazz I know about, he was a rapper breakdancing in the 70s in New York.
He just died.
Yeah.
Is that Shabazz or Shabadoo?
Shabadoo.
Oh, is that it? Well, it sounds the same to me.
His last name was Shabazz.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah, his last name was Shabazz.
But he's not part of the 12 tribes of Israel. He may be a part of Ishmael because he had 12 tribes. And also Esau had 12 tribes. You read about them in Genesis 36. You read about Ishmael's 12 tribes in Genesis 12 when he got run out. The blessing, the angel told him, you should have 12 princesses. Esau in Genesis 36, you'll see they are the dukes and the teemen. That means priests of their tribes. That's why everywhere you see anything concerning what we would call Caucasian royalty, they call them dukes. What are they calling the boy over here that married Meghan Markle? Duke, what's his name? Harry?
Yeah.
Duke of Sussex. What? Sussex? Oh, I said Sussex. Didn't I? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm misled.
Oh, okay. Well, I just found it. But we knew it was SU something.
Yeah.
But you see in Trading Places, the movie, a duke has always sat on the stock exchange, didn't it? The Duke of Earl, right?
Duke of Earl.
Was that two brothers in the Dukes of Hazzard? Oh, them two white boys. They were dukes. Yeah. Now she may have wore Daisy. She may have wore Daisy Dukes, but they're still dukes.
That's where the name came from.
You know, the Dukes of Hazzards. So y'all, when you look deep into what a duke is, and you understand it, just like the boy now on trial with this Epstein deal, the one boy over there, he's still called the Duke of Edinburgh. All of this, y'all, that's tied to one group of nation of people. Just like Ishmael is tied to all the Arab tribes, the Palestinians, the Iranians, them Iraqis, them the Palestinians, Afghanistans. All of them are the 12 tribes, and then you got the 12 tribes of Israel, which we being the dominant ones in America because the yoke was put on our neck, the tribe of Judah after the tribes of Israel. Yes, the 10 tribes are amongst us, but Judah got the bulk of the punishment. None of them other tribes can report yokes of iron around their neck, hanging from trees the way we did. But it was prophesied because Judah did worse than the other 10 tribes. We watched them do wickedness, and then we did worse than they did. Can you imagine that? You watch somebody go in the gut, and you like, I believe I can do one better. It'd be like you can lie your way out of something, and the devil sitting at the end of the bed and say, damn, tell me how you did that. I know I was the father of lies, but I ain't never heard that.
That was a new one.
Where we at?
Verse 13.
Yeah.
For he of whom these things are spoken pertains to another tribe, of which no man gave attendance at the altar.
Right.
For it is evident that our Lord sprang out of Judah.
What did our Lord spring out of?
Out of Judah.
See, now, it's talking about our Lord. Understand this. Ain't none of the other priests been called Lord, but lowercase Lord, meaning that they are running either the household or the assembly matter, so to speak. But Saul was called Lord. But David wasn't talking about Saul in Psalm 110.
Right.
He said, the Lord said to my Lord, sit down on my right hand. We know Saul ain't sitting on the right hand after going to the witch of Endor. So when you're seeing this Lord here, it's going to explain itself. Go ahead.
For it is evident that our Lord sprang out of Judah.
Right.
Of which tribe Moses spake nothing concerning priesthood.
Right.
And it is yet far more evident, for that after the similitude of Melchizedek, there ariseth another priest.
Another priest after the similitude of Melchizedek. But look, notice that in the beginning we saw made like unto the Son of Man, because he was the first one in the heavens. Christ had on Melchizedek garment before Satan that was threw out of heaven. So y'all, we got to go back this far when he talks about the beginning. The war with Satan started in heaven. It didn't start on earth. He was thrown out. And we were warned that he's going to be down here to tempt us. He tempted a third of the angels. So when it says this one, the similitude, Christ said, when you see me, who you see?
The Father.
You see the Father. That's the similitude. That's the let us make man. Who is the us in the beginning?
The Most High in Christ.
That's right. So we know he had on Melchizedek in the heavens. Let's read some more.
Verse 16.
Yeah.
Who is made not after the law of a carnal commandment.
Not after the law of a what?
Carnal commandment. But after the power of an endless life.
But after the power of an endless life, he's a high priest. He gives life evermore because he's a priest of your soul. It's a difference, y'all. Not carnal law were priests of the flesh, Aaron them. They would whoop your flesh. And the change had to come because you could manipulate law. If you did some dirt, you just made sure 2 witnesses wasn't around. You could stay alive, but your consciousness know you did wrong. But under that order, you had to be caught. Just like the woman Christ, they brought to Christ and said, we caught her in the very act of adultery. Let's stone her to see what he would do. He is the law. He knew. He said, where's the man? How you going to put her to death? It say both of them should be put to death. If you caught her in the act, what was the man doing? Just watching?
Right.
He wasn't involved. So they all left, and he told her, he didn't tell her you didn't sin. He said, go and do what? It may not go as well with you the next time.
That's right.
Grace has been shown to you. Grace with mercy. Unmitigated favor. You didn't deserve no favor here. But they were up to no good. And with them being up to no good, the attack has always been on the Messiah. A prophet in his own nation ain't accepted, is it?
Nope.
By who? By his own people, right? It was Israel that turned down the Messiah. He told them when he rode in on that coat, he said, Israel, if y'all had to realize who I was, we'd have entered the kingdom at that point. But the high priest told him, no, he's some old charlatan. He messing up the money. How he healing for no cost?
Right. Who can afford to do that?
Who can afford to do that? Right. Go ahead, read verse 17.
Verse 17.
Yeah.
For he testifieth, thou art a priest forever, after the order of Melchizedek.
So he's talking about Christ as a priest forever, y'all. It ain't gonna switch to nobody else. It's not going back to Levi, but an oath was made to Levi before we went to Egypt. The Most High can never go back on his oath. He never will go back on what he said. The punishment in Genesis 3:16 and 3:17 still exists, don't it? Women still have pain during childbirth.
Yep.
Men still have to work by the sweat of their brow. How long ago that's been?
Since the garden, since the fall.
He say what he mean, because time to him don't exist. We just cry about time. Hold that, y'all. Let's get right to the heart of the matter now. Let's get to Genesis 28 and 20. And we're going to see Jacob being a high priest after the order of Melchizedek. Remember, the blessing went to Jacob when he dressed himself as Esau. He didn't have to, because his mother was told the elder should serve the younger. She didn't believe it, so she told him to dress up like your brother Esau. Your daddy finna give out the blessing. She didn't listen to the angel just like Sarah did. Mary just listened. She just said, your handmaid believe every word of it, so be it. At that moment, Mary conceived. But the other two had to face some harsh punishment, so to speak, for not believing. And she had him trick his daddy, and he lied straight to his daddy and said, I'm Esau. He said, the voice sound like Jacob. I know y'all twins. Come here, boy, let me feel the back of your neck. And it was her back there. And he said, let me smell your clothes, because he had on Esau clothes. He said, it smelled like wet dew in the morning. Like you've been out in the field hunting. And let me feel back here.
A wet chicken.
Now notice that his mama told him to go get a goat, not a sheep. What is sheep wool like? What is goat hair like? Straight. So that's why she went and put goat hair on him, because it was straight and it felt like that. You understand? So we can see how the trickery had to go down. That's why he grabbed the back of his neck. Because Esau was born red and what?
Hairy.
Like a what? A hairy garment. Like a fur, like he was born with a fur coat on.
Monkey.
Even though his senses were not evaded, what really got me on that when he said, you smell, he talked about his smell
Right.
and how he felt. It was just like he knew it wasn't the right.
Now understand that the smell though wasn't we had to be careful because it wasn't a stinky smell. He said it was like the dew of heaven.
Yes.
So we got to be careful. But look, the dew of heaven, what we may smell like a wet dog to us is still the dew of heaven.
Like in the morning.
Right.
Like
So,
in the morning when
look,
you walk outside,
yeah.
you smell that dew. It's like,
But if that dew get on an animal like it get on your dog, you don't put your dog out, do you? You may say dry his feet out, it smells like a wet dog. Understand that because dew is on his feet. So you don't throw your dog away or you like, put some boots on him next time we send him out. Yeah. You don't do that, so y'all just the understanding is just like when we go out camping y'all in the morning when we smell that fresh dew. But if an animal walked through it, you would smell that because it wets his fur.
yeah, I tell my dog, you smell like a white boy when he comes down.
Yeah. You know, and look, y'all, when you look at it, it's not disrespect, it's just telling about when hair gets wet. That's what it's going to smell like over time. But he didn't use sheep wool because he would have knew it was Jacob. He'd have felt back here and he said, yeah, this feels just like Pam on Martin. I feel some BDBs. Where we at? Genesis chapter 28, verse 20, we'll start. And y'all, we're going to just get right to what Jacob coming out from Laban. And Laban tricked him for 20 years for Jacob tricking Isaac for the blessing. And notice Isaac know when a vow is made, you can't turn it back.
Right.
He told Esau, he said, I done blessed him, I can't turn it back. He's going to be your Lord, which he was already prophesied to be. None of what this discussion would have been about if Rebekah had just listened to the angel and let it manifest. Go ahead. But Esau was not born wicked. Esau was given the laws, statutes, and judgments just like Isaac gave to him. Because if he wasn't, it wouldn't have never said Isaac was displeased when Esau married the Canaanite.
That's right.
Why would he be displeased? Who was he supposed to marry then that would have pleased Isaac?
And then it says that Isaac loved Esau.
What'd he say?
He loved Esau.
Because Esau could cook venison because he was a hunter. Every hunting video you see right now, when you turn it on, there's not a Leroy and Rufus out there hunting. I don't care what shows you watch right now, there's going to be white men out there hunting. They're in things because once our feet get numb, we through hunting.
We're going back to our comfort zone.
Shalom that time. Well, you slipped on up in here, didn't you?
Boy, I ain't even saying that. Yeah, we go back to our comfort zone.
Yeah. Jacob dwelt in tents. We always been city dwellers. Yo, we ain't never dwelt out in the field. That's why it's so crazy when you hear people saying go to the field and get out of the cities. The script don't tell us. They say we city dwellers. Jacob dwelt in tents. Yo, we ain't never been out just in the field. Ain't never been our home.
And then you also see in Esau's blessing from Isaac was not only his hunting of animals, but his hunting of the natural resources
Yes, sir.
of the earth. And so that's why they have all the natural resources of the earth. And they own all the banking systems and things of this nature. Because that was his blessing, but he was going to get it through violence.
That's right.
And you see to this very day, he's still conquering lands and natural resources through violence. But like he said, Esau wasn't born wicked.
Right.
He chose that path.
Yes, sir.
Everything about the Most High, the Elohim, is free will.
That's right.
That was a path that he chose. You'll read in other books like Jasher and Jubilees how he chose rather to go out hunting rather to go study under Shem.
That's right.
He didn't want to go to school. He wanted to go do what he wanted to do. He wanted to play his video games.
Yes, sir. It's plain and simple. If you just want a simple understanding, he did not. And then he was angry at his father because Jacob got the blessing.
Right.
But all this stems back to Rebekah not listening to the angel. She asked, why they scrapping in my stomach like this? And he told her, they two different nations you have in your womb.
Genesis 25 and 23.
Yes, sir. And the elder shall serve the younger. Who was the elder? Who came out first?
Esau.
So y'all, that's what was told to her before the children were born. That was told her because she said, this is unnatural in her. I can feel blows being thrown. It's kicking. It's like wrestling at the chase in my stomach. What's going on? This is what's going on. 2nd Ezra 6th chapter will clear it up even more for you. But let's move on, y'all, because we got a few scripts to get over.
Right, we're in the book of Genesis, chapter 28, and we'll start the reading in verse 20.
And this is where, when you pick it up from verse 10, y'all, we just got a few things to get on. Jacob was in the city of Bethel, which has always been a holy spot because they always mark where you've been visited with a pillar. They would get a stone and mark it and say, God met me here, or an angel met me here, as a witness against yourself. If you ain't got no paper to write it down, because we're supposed to write down every time God visits you or an angel visits you. So men would get a stone, pour oil over it, and say, this is the very spot. That was Bethel. That's the same place Abraham was when he got his blessing. Then it passed on. Jacob in the same location. When you read verse 10 on down, we just jumping down to 20. So y'all make sure y'all read on down, and this is where he had the dream at.
I was finna say, let me get 15 on down.
We'll get 15 on down there, bro.
We're going to start the reading in verse 15.
Yes, sir.
And it reads, and behold, I am with thee, and will keep thee in all places whither thou goest, and will bring thee again into this land. For I will not leave thee until I have done that which I have spoken to thee of. And Jacob awaked out of his sleep, and he said, surely the Most High is in this place, and I knew it not. And he was afraid, and said, how dreadful is this place? This is none other but the house of Yah, and this is the gate of heaven.
So right here, he knew a portal had been opened up because he saw ladders descending up and down and angels coming up and down. It's the same thing the witch of Endor saw. She just opened a portal because she jumped back, but she was used to that Whoopi Goldberg soothsaying. And it scared her to death. She like, look, I do that hustle on the side, but this is something I ain't never dealt with before. And he's shaking, what you see? What you see? She said, I see angels ascending and descending. Because they came and resurrected Samuel to prophesy from the grave Saul and his sons their death. And it says the same thing in Sirach 44, don't it? It says Samuel prophesied from the grave. That was not a demon. He asked him, why you wake me up from my rest? And if you think you can't wake up from your rest, look at Revelation 6 and 9, the souls under the altar. How long, Lord, before you avenge them on earth? They can't come back over here, but they're still alive on the other side. They just have no more part on this side while this sun is shining. When this sun is knocked out and a new sun come up there, which will be the sun, Christ back, things will get back in order, then you'll see the change. But until this side under here, you won't see your loved ones come back. Elvis ain't been back, neither have Tupac. Quit looking. Let's read some more.
Verse 18.
Yeah.
And Jacob rose up early in the morning and took the stone that he had put for his pillows and set it up for a pillar and poured oil upon the top of it.
What did he pour on top of it?
He poured oil upon the top of it.
And this is the same thing in Matthew 16 when, remember, the disciples saw in a vision Elijah and Moses and the Messiah when he transfigured in his glory. What they asked? Should we make what? 3 pillars, 3 tabernacles. He's like, no. The Father said, no, look here. Hear him.
Right. Y'all missing the point.
Y'all missing the point. Moses and Elijah ain't got nothing to do with this. Let's read some more.
Verse 19.
Yeah.
And he called the name of that place Bethel. But the name of that city was called Luz at the first.
So the name of the city was called Luz at the first. But it was changed to Bethel because there was a portal opened up there. There was a supernatural. Y'all, when they keep talking these black holes and stuff like that, all they're talking about is portal openings. The Gateway Arch was a portal opening. It shines right down on the courthouse. Egypt had portal openings. That's why when the sun bounced through them. But the bottom line is what you got coming through those portals. Angels or demons. That's why you have to conjure a demon up. And they put that hexagram right where they think is going to be a portal, right there. And you get in the middle of it. If you step outside of that hexagram, them demons will kill you. So don't open up the wrong portal, especially the portal in your mind. Let's read some more.
Verse 20.
Yeah.
And Jacob vowed a vow.
What did Jacob do?
He vowed a vow, saying, if Yah will be with me, and will keep me in this way that I go, and will give me bread to eat, and raiment to put on,
right,
so that I come again to my father's house in peace. Then shall the Most High be my Elohim. And this stone, which I have set for a pillar, shall be Yah's house. And of all that thou shalt give me, I will surely give the 10th unto thee.
Now, he didn't build no house.
Right.
It's just a stone there, but he said, this is the house of God. This is where you can't box the Most High in a house.
Right.
What we look like talking about, yeah, y'all need to come down there to the basement of the Sears building. God in there, he in our house.
Right.
Solomon said he couldn't do it. Acts 7:48, Acts 17:24 say, God does not dwell in temples made with man's hands. Jacob didn't make that rock, he just found it. Cleaned it off, poured oil on it, and sacrificed on it, said, this is the house of God. I'll leave this marker here for everybody that comes through here to see that marker. You have some people talking about that was a crystal, an expensive crystal. Do you think, it says there unto this day, who gonna keep walking past a ruby or amethyst crystal and just like wonder what that is? It look expensive, but don't mess with it.
Right.
Let's go up here and dig for some more. Maybe they close by. That's the foolishness of them trying to get you to worship crystals and jewels. Yeah, we had them only for their beauty and pureness because you could see through a crystal. Where diamonds come from? From coal.
Right.
Coal pressurized so much it turned into a diamond. And they never told us to worship that, did it? Because if we got to get diamonds, we A out.
You gotta get lab grown diamonds.
He say lab.
Well, lab grown. Yes, sir. Go ahead, bro.
That's it on that.
That's it on that. So we see that Jacob vowed a vow and a vow to the Most High. It tells us in Deuteronomy 17, Deuteronomy 5, do not make any vow, and a vow means to swear. That's why Messiah tells us, swear not at all, but say you affirm. Because if you swear, you're on the hook. If you swear in court, they let you know. If you swear and you tell a lie, it's perjury. We're going to give you 5 years. But if you say, I affirm, they say, we'll take that. Affirm means, first of all, I know I ain't supposed to swear. Affirm means I'm going to tell it to you as best as I can recall it. What they going to do about that? How they going to tell you you can't remember? Somebody get the remember board and they just start hitting you on your head. You remember now? You really ain't going to remember then.
I remember the pain that I
Yeah. So y'all, when you swear, and Jacob swore, just like Jephthah did in Judges 11th chapter, he said, the first person come out of my door, I'm going to dedicate to the temple as a burnt offering. And it was his only daughter. Yep. He knew at that point, he like, what did I do? But he can't go back. No. But he wasn't like, what did I do? It was just a fact. I got to give my daughter to the temple now.
Right.
To serve.
I would not have a grandchild.
No, boy, look here.
No grandchildren to inherit my name and carry on my name.
Because that's what he said. You have to be careful when you say, I swear for living God.
Y'all, this ain't like that junk you play in the street. I put this on my mama.
Right.
You put this on the father, it's gonna be on it. Let's read some
That's
more.
what they doing.
Yeah.
I put that on God.
They ain't got no.
But
no
they don't
clue.
know who God, who, they don't know what God they putting it on.
That's right. Genesis 29, let's start about verse 31, and we're going to see, because we're talking about why Levi was chosen, we're going to see the birth of Levi. Genesis 29, 31 through 34. And y'all, we're gonna get some understanding today, y'all, because this starts way before Mount Sinai with Levi and why he was chosen.
So you're going to learn today, huh?
Gonna learn today, because see, we here talk of Levi when Shem met Abraham, and that's Abraham is Levi's great grandfather. Isaac was Levi's grandfather, so Abraham is Isaac's daddy. So what that make Abraham talking about Levi? It say when he was yet in the loins of Abraham, tithes was paid.
Yes, sir.
So we got to take our mind back. That's why Paul keep talking about Galatians about circumcision. Abraham was 99 years old before he was circumcised. And the script say, Genesis 26 and 5, he kept all the commandments and wasn't circumcised, nor did he have fringes on. His heart was circumcised. Y'all, we talking about the inner man. We ain't talking about the outer man. You can dress the outer man any way you want.
And then that goes back to what we were saying, that many will want to run to Aaron because they can look the part of Aaron.
Yes, sit Moses'
It's a
seat.
fleshly appearance. Whereas Melchizedek has no fleshly, no carnal appearance. So they can't play the role of Melchizedek because it has no outward appearance
Exactly.
to dress up as. But see, they could dress up as Aaron all they want and say, I'm a high priest or I'm a priest. But you don't understand that the priesthood was changed.
Yes, sir.
So you just stuck in the mud, turning your wheels.
Boy, stuck
For
in the
what?
mud.
For what? Because there's no salvation in that.
Just glorying in the flesh.
Just glorying in the flesh.
Let's read some more. Genesis chapter 29, verse 31.
It's on Elisha.
Genesis chapter 29, verse 31.
Yes, sir.
And when the Most High saw that Leah was hated.
Hold on, we got a few pages flipping. We'll let you get there. Y'all good? Let's read some more.
Verse 31.
Yeah.
And when the Most High saw that Leah was hated, he opened her womb. But Rachel was barren.
So right here, the Most High said he saw Leah was hated. Hated by who? See, and we're not talking about a physical hate, player hating like we player hate. We player hate.
Yeah.
This means to love less. He didn't hate, at least he didn't hate on the other side of midnight with 4 chillings and 2 by her handmaids.
No.
How much hating was that?
No.
At least he turned his hate off. 12 o'clock, oh, hate goes out. Or it means to love less. Like the Messiah say, if you don't hate your mother, your father, your sister, and brother more than me, you can't be my disciple. He don't mean you can't hate your mom. Mama, I hate you because Jesus said it. He told me I could hate you. No, it means you have to love your mother and your father less than the Messiah because they can't keep breath in your body.
Right.
They gonna be calling on the Father.
And Rachel was
Please,
the one
Lord.
he wanted.
And Rachel, right, for 7
He
years.
wasn't working for Leah. He was working for Rachel.
But he got tricked into Leah because he tricked his daddy. So Laban tricked him, didn't give him Rachel that he worked for 7 years. Look, 7 years he worked for. Wasn't no hanky-panky. I'm talking about courted for 7 years. We can't court for 7 minutes.
That's Galatians.
Look here, as soon as the club lights come on, you coordinate you. To the parking lot.
Have mercy, have mercy.
To the parking lot. Parking lot pimping.
Boy, look here.
Boy.
Where we at? Who had something? Y'all good?
Yeah.
Let's read some more, Elisha.
Verse 32.
Yeah.
And Leah conceived.
What did she do?
Conceived.
So ain't no hate there no more, is it?
No.
Let's read some more.
And bare a son.
Uh-huh.
And she called his name Reuben.
The firstborn.
For she said, surely the Most High has looked upon my affliction. Now therefore my husband will love me.
Uh-huh.
And she conceived again, and bare a son, and said, because the Most High hath heard that I was hated, he hath therefore given me this son also. And she called his name Simeon.
So the hate ain't from Jacob. The hate got to be from somebody else.
Right.
Rachel.
But did you hear what she said?
What she said?
She said the baby was gonna make the man love her.
Oh boy, look here.
Go on today.
Don't let go on today. Yo, this is why polygamy, that Greek term for pornography, was never part of this law. Abraham never taught it. Isaac never taught it. Jacob never taught it. And the 12 tribes never taught it. If it happened, it say if a man take a second wife, this what has to happen. Nothing can diminish from the first wife. You can't take her car and split it with her. Get her a car too. You want to play this game? But notice how these same people don't go back to the beginning when they go back to the beginning on everything. Who was the first polygamist? Cain's granddad. Grandson. Lamech was the first. Lamech was the first polygamist out of Cain's line.
And he was a murderer and a boaster and liar and prideful.
And a murderer.
Again.
What you got, bro?
Sis in the chat asked, were Rachel and Leah twins?
Yes, sir. We'll get into some. You can get into some Jasher. I believe it's right around. Let me see. We'll get into it. We'll find it though. It's right around these same chapters, right around 30 and 29 of the book of Jasher. You'll see it in there. They were twins. I'll find it for you real quick. And it said they were identical except for the eyes.
Right.
It said they had beautiful forms, both of them. Leah was not ugly. It just said her eyes were not as sparkly as Rachel's were, because men like sparkly eyes.
Real bright.
So if you look at it from this perspective, Beyonce and her sister, what is it, how you pronounce her name? Solange? Solange. Solange ain't ugly, is she? Huh? But the eyes are different. Just look at the eyes of Beyonce and Solange, and you'll see the difference. But both of their forms are beautiful. It's probably 28th chapter of the book of Jasher, but I'll get into it. I'll find it real quick. Go ahead. But they were twins. That's who Esau was supposed to marry. They were twins, and these are twin brothers. He was going to send Isaac to marry Leah. Make sense? Or who was he supposed to marry? Who was he supposed to marry that made Isaac so upset when he married a Canaanite woman?
One of the kinfolk.
Kinfolk. But there was kinfolk. That's why he was sent. Where we at?
Verse.
I'll find that Jasher real quick. Go ahead, Elisha. Read on where you at.
33.
Okay.
No, 34.
Okay.
And she conceived again.
And what she do?
Conceived
Whole
again.
lot of conceiving, ain't it, y'all? Mm-hmm. And look, that was part of the curse in Genesis. Multiple conceptions for the woman. And a minstrel. Multiple conceptions. Twinning what invented first. It's supposed to be singled out. This started 20 because she got two men in her mind. She got Satan, a tree to be desired. And she got Adam in there. Twinning. Don't mean one of them children was Satan, because Cain would have had to be a giant. And then we're going to have a problem with Genesis 4 where it say Adam knew Eve and she bare Cain. Spiritually, he was Satan's son. Physically, he was Adam's son after Eve learned from Satan how to get busy and taught Adam. Adam wasn't right there. Adam came back. She said, guess what that tree taught me? Right. What? That looked like that's going to be some fun. Right. And then Adam blamed Eve and hid amongst the trees. Mm-hmm. What you got, bro?
It's Jasher 28:28.
28:28. What it say, bro?
It says, and the Lord afterward remembered Adinah, the wife of Laban.
Right.
She conceived and bare twin daughters.
Right.
And Laban called the names of his daughters, the name of the elder Leah, and the name of the younger Rachel.
Y'all see that right there? That's what we just read. 28:28. That was.
Yes, sir.
And it's may tell about their form in there somewhere. Let me see. I'll get to that. But it said her form was perfect. Maybe in Jubilees though, y'all. But we'll get to it. Let's speed this on up. You still there, Elisha, on that one?
Yeah.
But I believe that's in the book of Jubilees. Talks about Rachel's and Leah's form.
Yeah, I might have it marked in my Jubilees.
Okay.
All right, verse 34.
Yeah.
And she conceived again and bare a son, and said, now this time will my husband be joined unto me, because I have borne him 3 sons. Therefore was his name called Levi.
What was his name called?
Levi.
See, this is the 3rd son born to Leah. This is Levi's birth. Okay, go ahead.
And she conceived again and bare a son. And she said, now will I praise the Most High. Therefore she called his name Judah, and left bearing.
And she left off, and then she couldn't conceive no more. But Rachel ain't had a child yet. So how much is Jacob hate? Unless he hate like that song Prince made, I hate you, but I love you. I didn't sound like Prince on that, but that's the song.
You gotta warn us for this stuff like that.
He said, warn us before you start crying out like that.
I thought it was a serious emergency.
But if y'all ever hear that song by Prince, it's called I Hate You, but he say, but I love you. But this is not on those terms. And when we go back, you'll see that as we get forward in this, you'll see Rachel start questioning Jacob. Right. Give me a child on that. He like, woman, you think I'm God? You see, I work, look at Leah. It ain't me. I work. It's 4 sons now. It ain't me. I'm not God. You better go to God and ask him. And she did, and her womb was open. Where we at? Let's get right to it, y'all. Levi, we see he's born. Let's get right into the book of Jubilees, because we want to see a visitation to Levi. I'm talking about the son, not the tribe of Levi. I'm talking about the original son before his tribe. If y'all, we got anybody pull up that book of Jubilees, we need chapter 32. We're going to go 1 through 13, because we're going to see where Levi had a visitation. 32, verse 1 through 13, book of Jubilees. If y'all ain't got it, too, I'm going to put it up. 32.
Verse 1.
Yeah, through 13. For all y'all who don't have it, y'all, we trying to... You got a projector? Oh, boy, Zeb got the projector back.
Yeah, Brew brought him in.
Brew walked in and handed me one. You didn't see that?
No, man,
He
who was
didn't see
that? Who was
Ezra
that?
come in.
Who was that? Yeah, Ezra got snuck in here like Nat Turner of old, on a slave map.
Yeah, Richard slid up in there with
Oh, that's where Rich had that big old box?
Yeah.
Boy, I thought that was one of them food boxes out there. They giving away.
Thought he picked him up one time.
Yeah.
Levi chosen to the priesthood of the 10th son.
Yeah.
I can't really do it right now. I need to readjust, and I don't want to
Just put something up under that.
Yeah,
No, yeah.
put something else up.
But he gonna put it up on the board, and he may be able to get it, y'all. But we gonna just move on to by or put it up. If y'all don't have the book of Jubilees, y'all, if y'all got smartphone, y'all, let's get smart.
You got it, Brew, you need this one?
No, I got it.
Okay.
Y'all ready?
Wait.
Yeah. Rich, you know them glasses don't work way back there.
I don't know. Bad boy look like he can see somebody waving on the moon.
Look at what he saying. I see the flag. Let's get it, y'all. Where we at?
Jubilees chapter 32, verse 1.
Yes, sir.
You ready, sir?
Go ahead.
All right. And he abode that night at Bethel.
And where he abode,
Bethel.
y'all see how Bethel keep popping up? Because it's the house of the Lord. It's a place where the Most High visited. Y'all, it ain't gonna be no building. It's gonna be a location. And y'all, they do the same thing. The arch is called the gateway to the what?
Midwest.
It's called the gateway.
To hell.
Because it shines right on that courthouse in the morning. It shines through the arch right on the courthouse steps.
It's a portal.
It's a portal. What else we got?
It's the gateway to hell.
Yeah.
So where all these demons lurking Saint.
Right, Saint Lucifer.
St. Lucifer misery.
Yeah. Boy, look here.
Yeah.
Y'all know y'all love it.
St. Afghanistan.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's read it again,
In the
y'all.
mood.
Right, right.
Belly of the beast for real.
Real, right. Yes, sir. The last slave state.
Jubilees chapter 32 verse 1.
Yeah.
And he abode that night at Bethel.
Uh-huh.
And Levi dreamed that they had ordained and made him the priest of the Most High Yah.
This is way before Egypt. What priest order is he dreaming about then? Let's read some more.
Him and his sons forever.
Uh-huh.
And he awoke from his sleep and blessed the Most High.
Right.
And Jacob rose early in the morning on the 14th of this month and gave a tithe of all that came with him, both of men and cattle, both of gold and every vessel and garment. Yeah, he gave tithes of all.
Because we just read in 30 that he say, if you will be my God, I will give you a tenth of everything. That means the sons also.
That's right.
Everything I own, I'm going to give you a tenth of them. I got 12 sons, you getting one of them.
That's right. And that's a law.
That's a law.
The first son or the first child that openeth the matrix, that entereth the matrix, belongs to the Most High.
Yes,
That's
sir.
the first fruits. What's that, Numbers 13?
Yes, sir. And we're going to get in there and we're going to see how Levi was set aside from that order. We're going to get into some Numbers 3 on that to clear that up, you know. But what Elijah's saying, for everybody else, our firstborn.
Right.
But the tribe of Levi, he said, I'm going to pull them away. We're going to get that, though. Let's get it.
That's right. Verse 3.
Yeah.
And in those days, Rachel became pregnant with her son Benjamin. And Jacob counted his sons from him upwards, and Levi fell to the portion of the Most High.
What Levi fall to?
The portion of the Most High.
Uh-huh.
And his father clothed him in the garments of the priesthood and filled his hands.
Once again, y'all, what priesthood is this? And Egypt ain't even came into the picture yet.
That's right.
Melchizedek, he clothed him in that because he understood the vision too. He had Bethel. It's going to be this son, Levi. And but look, notice what Jacob did. Jacob had did this twice.
Right.
He counted from the bottom up. Count from the bottom up and see where it stops. The 10th. If you count from the bottom up, you're going to see who the 10th is. If Levi the 3rd, if you count 4, that means 2 in front of him, right?
That's right.
So if you count 10 backwards, who it stop on?
Levi.
Right, backwards. Same thing he did when he blessed Manasseh and Ephraim.
Right, he put the hands.
He
said
switched
no.
the hand. They said no. Did he say no?
He said no,
this way.
that's the oldest. He said no. But the blessing, he said, I know what I'm doing.
I know what I'm doing.
I know who the oldest and who the youngest.
Read some more, Elisha.
Verse 4.
Yeah.
And on the 15th of this month, he brought to the altar 14 oxen from amongst the cattle, and 28 rams,
Yeah.
49 sheep,
Yeah.
and 7 lambs, and 21 kids of the goats as a burnt offering on the altar of sacrifice, well pleasing for a sweet savior before Elohim.
Right.
This was his offering in consequence of the vow which he had vowed that he would give a tenth with their first offerings and their drink offerings.
So is Jubilee lining up with what Genesis just said about that if you be my God, I will give you a tenth. This is where he's saying it comes from that vow that I'm going to give you a tenth. And he did. I'm going to give you this many sheep of what I got. He stacked with Laban. Because he fattened Laban up.
Right.
And then he had a bunch of cattle when he left. What you got over there, bro?
So did they eat the meat?
Oh, boy, look here. Yeah, right.
Okay.
These teeth are only made for vegetation.
And it wasn't about sinning, y'all. We would sacrifice to the Most High, a vow to him to thank him for what he did for us. Instead, you find $100 instead of giving 10 to the homeless, and you have 90. You 90 in the green now, ain't you?
Yep.
But what the first thing we saying? Dang, why couldn't it have been 500? We ain't never satisfied, is we? In want of all things, always want a little bit extra. What about that 10th you could have gave? Oh, I'm gonna fatten that up even more if I find 500. No, you ain't gonna find 500. Let's read some more.
Verse 6.
Yeah.
And when the fire had consumed it, he burnt incense on the fire over the fire. And for the thank offering, 2 oxen and 4 rams and 4 sheep, 4 he-goats, 2 sheep of a year old, and 2 kids of the goats. And thus he did daily for 7 days.
How many days he do that for?
7 days.
He did that on the Sabbath day too, then, didn't
Yes,
he?
sir.
That's a lot of wasted meat if they ain't
That's a lot of wasted meat
eating good. They didn't eat.
if they didn't eat. If all the people around them didn't enjoy the blessing of the Lord, because he understands it was a blessing for me to have these type of animals to be able to sacrifice in his name. But ain't no wrongdoing done here for him to do that. It's the same way when Noah came off the mount, the first thing he did was sacrifice. Everybody is saved at this point. What you're sacrificing for, unless you're thanking the Lord for saving my soul. Right. This is what Jacob is doing. He's thanking him for saving his soul and his household, because Esau was hot on his heels.
Yeah, that's right.
That's good. He had a hit on.
Yes, sir. Let's read some more.
And then we're finna see. Verse 7.
Yeah.
And he and all his sons and his men were eating.
What were they doing?
And he and all his sons and his men were eating this with joy. They're doing 7 days and blessing and thanking the Most High, who had delivered him out of all his tribulation and had given him his vow.
What did he deliver him out of?
His tribulation.
And given because of what?
His vow.
See, he stuck to his word. He didn't say, I put this on the Most High and then do what the Most High had him to do. He said, Lord, if I do this, I'm going to ride with you forever. Y'all, before you make a vow like that, you have to have it in your soul. You have to be fully persuaded in your own mind before you say that before mankind, trying to fool them to make you think you really love the Lord.
Right.
I love the Lord. Like Arsenio was in that Coming to America. I say, I love the Lord. No, away with your smooth soliloquies. Let's read some more.
Verse 8.
Yeah.
And he tied all the clean animals and made a burnt sacrifice. But the unclean animals he gave not to Levi his son.
See, we got clean and unclean, and we ain't been to Mount Sinai yet.
You better teach.
But we got clean and unclean on the ark. When Noah put them on the ark, he put 7 pairs of the clean and 2 pairs of the unclean. So it's always more clean beasts to sacrifice than unclean, because if it's not, you're going to start sacrificing unclean animals.
Right.
This law was already in order. Noah got on the ark with this law, clean and unclean.
So what order was he following?
7 female deers, 7 male deers. 2 male pigs, 2 female pigs. That's all they got on the ark.
And that was before the Torah.
Yeah.
Way before
Torah.
what we're talking about, what you may call Torah, but we're talking about the law in the heavens that Adam was given.
Right.
This is your commandment, Adam. You in charge of everything on planet Earth, and this is how you run it. You're the king of planet Earth. And guess what the Garden of Eden was? Jerusalem. It's the navel of planet Earth. The whole earth is Eden. He planted a garden
eastward.
in where? In Eden. Eden is the world. He planted a garden eastward in Eden called.
And he placed a man there.
And placed a man there. Northeast Africa. So what? Any white person say, I wish y'all go back to Africa. Don't get mad. Just say, how about Northeast Africa? And watch the conversation change. No, I'm not going to Hamitville. I'm not going over here. Do you mean Northeast Africa?
By the Euphrates and Tigris.
Yeah.
Pishon.
Can I go there? Will you fund me?
Right.
You'll fund me to go back over here to Swaliland?
Right.
No. I'm not looking for bone in the nose. I'm not looking for unclean meat. Let's read some more.
Don't get in the hair.
Yeah.
Play it in the lip.
Boy, look here. You talking about the original soup coolers.
You ain't in for it.
Y'all know why they call them soup coolers? Because big lips will cool your suit down quicker. You be like, let's read some more, y'all. What you got, Rich?
But I don't see no mixture of money.
Well, tithing ain't never been okay. Excellent point, bro. So you would tithe everything, your children, your firstborn, whatever it was, it didn't matter. What you felt was a blessing from the Lord, you would give him a tenth of it.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
It was never just one thing like money. If that's the case, and we have to tithe money, we through, ain't we? The ghetto, we through, ain't we? What we gonna tithe? And our hand always shakes like a shuck, looking for something to be put in. Let me hold. What you say? Let me hold something.
And then the law was upon thy increase.
Yeah. This tithing was. Abraham tithed off the slaughter. Everything he took from them, he gave Melchizedek a tenth of that. That didn't come out of his pocket. Tithing was under the order of Melchizedek upon your increase.
Yes, sir.
No increase, you didn't pay no tithes. You just make sure you kept the law because it was tithing enough according to Surah chapter 2. Thy arms are tithed.
They passed the plate in church 3 times.
Oh, look here. You know what they doing?
There's more than 3 times.
And look.
I seen him do it.
Look. Now look. Notice the slickery in that. They say the law was nailed to the Christ, but ain't tithing the law?
Yes, sir.
According to Nehemiah 10:36, Numbers 20 and 18, tithing is a law. So if the laws are done away with, how you commanding somebody to give you tithes? We just read in Hebrews 7, it was commanded to take tithes. It's not commanded. You can't force nobody's hand. But y'all, it costs to be down here. There's rent. There's all the other things we need. Y'all eating good, ain't you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank y'all worldwide audience for y'all continued support and the St. Louis support, y'all, because we couldn't keep it going. But y'all, we have to have money in America. Like Ecclesiastes say, money is a defense.
That's right.
The love of money is the root of all evil. We can't love it like that. You can't paper chase. It didn't say you couldn't have it because it says it's a defense.
That's right.
In America, you got to have some money. If you want to eat, some money or a pistol.
It also says money answers issues.
What money do?
It says money answers problems.
Don't that lift up a bowed down head?
Right.
Income tax season coming up.
If you can pay your rent and your bill, even though you may be broke, but there's a peaceful broke.
Ain't a peaceful broke boy.
You ain't gotta look over your shoulders and see and worry if the rent man coming by, your landlord creeping by, or if the bill people calling,
Or
gonna turn off your services and things of that nature.
Look, or the mule thieves lurking around.
Come to get that ride.
That's
boy.
they repo man.
Yeah.
The mule thieves.
We ain't worried about
Or you see your neighbor's hiding his car 3 blocks over.
Yeah.
Walking.
You like he walking to work now? No, he just walking 2 blocks over.
to get his car.
Mule thieves looking for him.
See, that's why when that collection plate come around that second and third time, you just thump the bottom of it.
Yeah.
Boop, like
Yeah.
Just thump that joker.
Boy, them coins jump up, huh? But y'all understanding this, y'all, it takes money to run anything in America. It's a capitalist society. Ain't nothing moving for free. If you hear the government getting out free money, your chances are better hitting the Powerball 3 times in the same week than the government giving away free money. There's no such thing in America. Ain't never been. Food stamps cost somebody. The daddy who ain't around, it costs him. Ask him. Where we at?
If you can find it.
Yeah. Where we at, bro? Verse 9?
Verse 9.
Yeah.
No, I have to finish verse 8.
Okay.
And he tithed all the clean animals, and made a burnt sacrifice. But the unclean animals he gave not to Levi his son, and he gave him all the souls of the mean.
What did he give him?
All the souls of the mean.
Because he put him in the Melchizedek robe, so now he's the high priest. So the souls of men, this is what the order of Melchizedek does. It's an everlasting priesthood. We ain't worried about no priesthood, just worrying about correcting your flesh. Your flesh is going to die. Flesh will die if you put it in the freezer. If you open up the freezer, you say something stank in here and it's frozen. You start clearing out, don't you? Here it is right here, this old hamburger. It say used before 2017. Why is this still in the freezer? Let's read some more.
Verse 9.
Yeah.
And Levi discharged the priestly office at Bethel before Jacob his father, in preference to his 10 brothers, and he was a priest there. And Jacob gave his vow. Thus he tithed again the tithe to the Most High and sanctified it, and it became holy unto him.
So is this the order of Aaron or is this Melchizedek?
Melchizedek.
So now you understand Hebrews 7 when it said Abraham paid tithe, Levi paid tithes, and Abraham while he was yet in his loins. Already accounted for, because he said, to your sons I'm going to give this blessing. I'm going to give it to Isaac, and then he's going to give it to his sons. And that's the birthright. Let's read some more.
Verse 10.
Yeah.
And for this reason it is ordained on the heavenly tablet.
Where is ordained at?
On the heavenly tablet. As a law for the tithing again, the tithe to eat before the Most High from year to year.
Hold on, did that say to eat before the Most High?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
It's the tithing again, the tithe to eat before the Most High from year to year. In the place where it is chosen that his name should dwell. And to this law, there is no limit of days forever.
So when you understand and you start looking at Zadok the priest, that we're going to get into a little bit later, and Ezekiel 48, when it's talking about Levi and Zadok, this vow made it last that far, but he's not the ruler. He's just a priest in the New Jerusalem. Christ is the king. He's the high priest after the order of Melchizedek. Levi just going to return to Melchizedek. He's just returning to this position. But he's still the Most High's 10% of the 12 tribes, because that vow don't go away. Vows don't go away. Numbers 30th chapter is the vow of the household. If a husband hear his wife say a vow to the Lord that binds her soul, he got two things. He can say, Lord, disavow, or Lord, let that stand. Based off of what he hears. It say, if he hears. If he don't hear it, the woman have to keep a vow. She like, Lord, if you ever give me a good man, I'll reverence you forever. If her husband dies, that's a vow to her soul if she gets remarried. She can't switch. That's on her soul. It keeps going if she had 10 husbands. Go ahead. Who was that, Thomas? Yeah. Thomas showing off his new phone.
Yeah, the fact that it works.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, bro.
Say it's only temporary.
Go ahead.
Verse 11.
Yeah.
This ordinance.
This what?
Ordinance. Which is a law.
Right.
Is written that it may be fulfilled from year to year in eating the second tithe before the Most High in the place where it has been chosen. And nothing shall remain over from it from this year to the year following.
Right.
For in this year shall the seed be eaten to the days of the gathering of the seed of the year, and the wine to the days of the wine, and the oil to the days of its season. And all that is left thereof, and becomes old, let it be regarded as polluted. Let it be burnt with fire, for it is unclean.
So right there, what makes it unclean? If it's some leftovers after that period of time.
Right.
And y'all see, this is what we're talking about. You have to be careful, like when people say, well, I don't see that in Leviticus 23. Ain't nothing in Leviticus 23 about Jacob doing 7 days, making a feast, is it? Abraham made a feast for Isaac's weaning. Yeah. When Isaac got off the breast, he had a feast. Yeah. And he invited kings of other nations. The king of this nation was there. The king of this nation came to see the miracle child. So y'all have to be careful when somebody try to lock you down and say what you can't thank the Lord for. It only have to be by the, no, it ain't never said that. As we read throughout the Bible, you make a vow to the Lord, that's on you. You better stick to it till you dead.
Right.
Thank you.
till you dead. You vowed your soul. That's why I tell you, swear not at all, unless you want to attach it to your soul. And y'all, we see here that it says, and to forgive sins and do things. Levi, that's what Christ meant when he said, what you bind on earth, you bind on earth, or you loose on earth, and what you bind in heaven, you bind in heaven. This is what this just saying. There was an act on earth that was bound where? In heaven. It was written on the tables of the heavenly tablets. If you say, I'll never forgive you, that's bound in heaven. You can't be that angry if somebody repents and you say, I will never forgive you after they repent. But repent means they turn away from it. You just don't accept it because they said it. They have to turn away from it. I'll never steal out of your house again. Yeah, bro, I let you back in 10 times and everything's still there, ain't nothing missing. Then you can forgive him. His klepto is gone, at least from your house. Let's read some more. Where we at, bro? That's it on that 13? Y'all read the rest of that, y'all. We're going to get right now into, we see Levi was a Melchizedek priest, so now we understand Hebrews 7 when it's talking about Melchizedek. He was a priest. He's after Shem. Y'all understand what we're saying? He's after Jacob. Jacob put him on the road. Where he get the road from? Did he go into the future to Mount Sinai and get it and come back? Boy, I done been to the future, I'm back.
Boy, you got props.
Yes, sir. Let's get it, y'all. Genesis 49. And on Jacob's deathbed, he gave out blessings to his sons, but he got to tell them why the birthright, like you're reading the will. Everybody come to the will reading, waiting to see what daddy left for me. And then sometime in the will, it'll be read what you did. You never want to go to school. You never want to be done. You still at Big Mama's house in the basement. So what I leave to you is just enough to help Big Mama pay her rent. Why would you dump everything on him and he going to get rid of it like the prodigal son?
Yep.
And to Jimmy, my firstborn, who always said, to you I leave my inheritance. If you look at Genesis 25, you look at Jubilees 25, and you look at Jasher 20 and 25, you see that Abraham gave an inheritance to all his children. But the bulk of his stuff, he left for Isaac. Because the blessing went through Isaac. All his other, by his wife Keturah, after Sarah and Hagar were dead. He gave Ishmael some. He gave all and Ishmael's children. And then Isaac, and he gave the rest of the stuff. He said, all this belongs to you and in charge of the future kingdom, the everlasting kingdom. This what I'm blessing you with. The blessing came to me, this who it goes on to. Y'all understand? We making sense? Okay. What they got out there, Tubai?
So far, so good.
Okay, they listening in real well. Let's get Genesis 49, 5 through 7.
Genesis 49, verse 5.
Yes, sir. And this is verse 1, Jacob on his deathbed. He giving out the blessing. He tell Reuben, Reuben, you lost the birthright because you went up into my couch. You uncovered my nakedness. And that means he went into his father's second wife that was given to him by Leah and Rachel squabbing and fighting over them being barren. Rachel couldn't have no children, so he gave the handmaid that their father Laban gave to her. Their father gave them those women as handmaids before Jacob ever married her. Those women belonged to Leah and Rachel, not to Jacob. And they said, since I can't have a baby, have her by her. But y'all, they were squabbing. Now they had their own houses. Because when Laban was looking for his idol, it said he went to Leah's tent. Then he went to Rachel's tent. Then he went to Bilhah's tent. They were not crammed in one house.
Right.
A bunch of women, they squabbing in a different tent. What do you think that's going to be like? You got 3-4 women stacked up in one house. Arguing and fighting. You mad because he come out of that room walking bow-legged, but didn't come out like walking like that when he was in the room with you. In the same house. Then in the same house, all of them get the curse of Genesis 3:16 at the same time.
The same happened with Sarai and Hagar.
Yeah.
It always happens
If you don't do it by the rules.
if you don't do it by law.
Because the only way the rules say if a man die and have no seed, then his brother should take his widowed wife and bear him seed and it be in his name. Ain't no thing you can just decide I'm gonna do something called polygamy, which is the Greek term for an orgy, and say it's according to the Bible. If it's according to the Bible and everything else you say in Hebrew, say polygamy in Hebrew. We're waiting. We've been waiting for how long?
A long time.
A long time for you to say it in Hebrew. Let's read some more. If you got to put it on the screen, send it to 2 by what it say in Hebrew, polygamy.
It don't exist.
Since you play word etymology all the time, go eat. Emo, I'm sorry.
I mean, the everything that came to each one of these women. I mean, they must have lived in mansions of that time because of who their husband was.
Absolutely.
So they must have had. I mean, they're not talking about the
No.
shack.
No, they didn't share shoes. No.
Those were.
They didn't split peanut butter jelly sandwiches. None of that.
Jacob was wealthy.
And they all had the same as each other.
Emo, that's a very good point because look, he fed that whole group around there for 7 days.
Yes.
Y'all see how much cattle he slaughtered? Money is not an issue. We're not playing the poor man pimp game that they're running on these women today.
He fed them daily.
Text I sent you, Daniel.
No, I missed it, bro. I'm gonna have to see it. Oh, okay.
He fed them daily.
Daily for how many days?
7 days straight.
7 days straight.
They ate goods, drank wine, eating the finest of meats.
Thanksgiving for 7 days, a week of Thanksgiving?
Boy, a week of Thanksgiving, bro. That's what we talking about. So it was no problem with wealth. Polygamy.
No, polygamy.
Oh, polygamy. A bunch of poor niggas trying to pimp gullible women into financially supporting them as their multiple wives. Polygamy. That's exactly what it is. Polygamy.
Hey, put that up, man. That's a new dictionary.
And look, because it is what it is, all you got to do is watch Hustle and Flow. And you'll see 4 women stacked in a house and 1 pimp.
Yep.
Pimp, P-I-M-P, put it in my pocket. All y'all money.
It ain't even money. They looking for welfare.
Anything.
The EBT cards.
Anything, Lisha. Put it in my pocket. Pimp.
EBT cards.
What you got, bro?
Ema Ray said, what same curse?
What's what?
She said, what same curse? Apparently, you must have said curse or something like that. She's asking.
Under the same curse.
That. Genesis 3:16. I'm sorry, Emo. What we're talking about is the curse that Eve was cursed with. Pain during childbirth and a menstrual cycle. You get into 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 12 through 15, it'll tell you, if a woman keep her sobriety and stay in holiness, then that curse will be removed from her. So check out some 2 Timothy. But this is Timothy, right? This was written by him all the way after the Messiah. So the curse is still going in, ain't it?
Yeah.
Or he wouldn't have wrote this in the 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 12 through 15. Or is it 1 Timothy? But the verses are 12 through 15.
St. Timothy.
Yeah. And you see, she shall be saved in childbearing. If they keep together, in sobriety, but both of them have to be on the same thing. You have to work like Abraham, and she has to be like Sarah. And you'll be saved from that curse that's on you. Then they'll have a baby, just pluka, no pain, no epidural. Let's read some more.
Where we going?
We're going to
49.
Did we read? We finished that?
We ain't ready yet.
Okay, Genesis 49, 5 through 7. Let's get it, y'all.
Genesis chapter 49, verse 5.
Yeah.
Simeon and Levi are brethren. Instruments of cruelty are in their habitation. O my soul, come not thou into their secret, unto their assembly.
Right.
Mine honor, be not thou united. For in their anger they slew a man.
In their what did they do?
In their anger they slew a man.
Uh-huh.
And in their self-will they dig down a wall.
Right.
Cursed be their anger.
Cursed be what?
Their anger.
So it's not them, but cursed be what?
Their anger.
If you got the anger like Simeon and Levi, a curse is going to follow you that follow them. Let's read some more. What else to say?
For it was fierce, and their wrath, for it was cruel. I will divide them in Jacob, and scatter them in Israel.
So you see, Simeon and Levi were scattered in Israel and in Judah. So because of that power move they pulled, they did and when we get into these scripts we finna get into the book of Jasher, you're gonna see that the hit was already on Shechem and his people for what they did to Isaac. Simeon jumped the gun and Levi. The only problem with it is they let them get circumcised. You give them the covenant of God, and then you come in when they legs up like they getting a pap smear because they sore, and you slay them with the sword after giving them God's covenant. That's disrespectful to the Most High. How you gonna bring somebody into the fold? That's like teaching a heathen, and then after he converts and say, yes, I believe y'all the children of Israel who will serve your God, and then you say, I'm gonna leave his back door open, bust his head.
Cut his head off.
Y'all want to see where it happened again after Peter went through his conversion to Acts 10 chapter? Give me a little Galatians 2:15 real quick, somebody. This is what Paul was screaming on Peter about.
Yeah.
The same thing, especially after his vision when he saw that the Most High said, Peter, rise, kill, and eat.
Yeah.
2:15.
Yeah, what it say, AZ? You see anything? He said, I confronted him to his face.
Yeah.
What it say?
We who are Jews by nature and not sinners of the Gentiles, knowing that a man is not justified by the works of the law, but by the faith of Yeshua HaMashiach. Even we have believed in Yeshua, that we might be justified by faith of Mashiach, and not by the works of the law.
Right.
For by the works of the law shall no flesh be justified.
Now what I'm looking for where okay, we way back a little bit. Go start at verse 60.
All right, verse 6.
Yeah.
Verse 6 says,
Yeah.
but of these who seem to be somewhat whatsoever they were, it maketh no matter to me.
And we're in Galatians chapter 2, verse 6. Go ahead.
But of these who seem to be somewhat whatsoever they were, it maketh no matter to me. Yah accepted no man's person, for they who seem to be somewhat in confidence added nothing to me. But contrariwise, when they saw that the gospel of the uncircumcision was committed unto me, as the gospel of the circumcision was unto Peter, for he that wrought effectually in Peter to the apostleship of the circumcision, the same was mighty towards the Gentiles.
In me toward the Gentiles. So either for all those groups out there to say this was just Israelite groups, one is circumcision, one is uncircumcised Israelites, they try to go back to the book of Maccabees where it says you become uncircumcised when you start taking on nations' customs. The only problem is y'all still in the flesh when y'all doing this law. But you're saying it's a spiritual matter when it comes down to this Bible. You wrestling with Paul's writing. You can't jump flesh and then spiritual on me and don't think we know what you doing. Let's read some more, bro.
Verse 9. And when James, Coppius, and John, who seemed to be pillars, received the grace that was given unto me, they gave to me and Barnabas the right hand's fellowship, that we should go unto the heathen, and they unto the circumcision.
So if Israel is the heathen, the Gentile, the 10 tribes that got put away, and I have to go to them and turn them. The problem is, when do they return to being Jews, or do they stay the uncircumcised from that perspective? You never read anywhere and say, and then they found out that they were Israel and they turned from their wicked customs of the heathen and came back. You don't see it. Romans 11 is talking about 3 groups: the natural branch, the broken off branches, and the wild olive branch. They ain't all Israel.
That's grafted in. Right.
Let's read some more of this and we're going to get to some understanding right now. What else to say?
Verse 10.
Yeah.
Only they would that we should remember the poor, the same which I also was forward to do. But when Peter was come into Antioch, I withstood him, to the face because he was to be blamed.
He said, I withstood him to the face. You know what that means? I checked him right there in front of everybody.
That's right.
In today's language. What's the other that language they use for I checked him to his face? Y'all know these youngsters got some new language. I don't know what they say that term. I told him he was petty about that.
I don't think that's it.
There it is.
You may well call him a giant turkey.
Yeah,
No, he was all caps.
He said he stepped to
He was all caps. He was all caps.
There you go.
yeah, it's all caps. Go ahead. What else to say, y'all?
Verse 12.
Yeah.
For before that certain came from James, he did eat with the Gentiles.
See, before certain came from James, because they try to make the war between Paul and James and the other disciples. That ain't the war. The war is against the Messiah. I said Messiah, but the disciples of the Messiah. That's where the war is. They after the Messiah. This has nothing to do with Peter, Paul, and James. That's not no war there. It's the gospel of Christ. Paul was trying to explain. Christ did not send me to baptize, but to do what? Preach the gospel. Let's read some more.
He did eat with the Gentiles.
Uh-huh.
But when they were come, he withdrew and separated himself, fearing them which were of the circumcision.
See, he ate with the Gentiles, and then when he saw James and them coming,
I don't know him.
hardcore Israelites, he act like he didn't know the Gentiles. Hey, excuse me, y'all, I need to use the bathroom real quick. Why would it matter if they're all Israelites? Why would Paul even confront them to the face?
Right.
If what he's doing, eating with uncircumcised Israelites that don't know who they are, and then when circumcised Israelites come, he disappear. They're still Israelites, ain't they?
Right.
It don't make sense, y'all. Let's read some more.
And the other Jews disassembled likewise with him. Insomuch that Barnabas also was carried away with their dissimulation.
You see this because they gave Paul Barnabas the role with him. And when Barnabas saw what Peter was doing, he like, well, what are we supposed to do? I'm supposed to leave him and go? What I'm supposed to? He carried away with their dissimulation.
Right, because he...
It's like Hebrews arguing with Hebrews in front of a Gentile.
Right.
And the Gentile is not an Israelite. Let's read some more.
14.
Yeah.
But when I saw that they walked not uprightly according to the truth of the gospel.
The truth of the what?
Gospel. I said unto Peter before them all. We go to front.
Yeah.
If thou being a Jew livest after a manner of Gentiles, and not as do the Jews, why compellest thou the Gentiles to live as do the Jews? We who are Jews by nature, and not sinners of the Gentiles, knowing that a man is not justified by the works of the law, but by the faith of Yeshua HaMashiach, even we have believed in Yeshua HaMashiach, that we might be justified by faith of Mashiach, and not by the works of the law. For by the works of the law shall no flesh be justified.
Let's get that understood. You can do the law all you want, but if you don't believe in the Messiah, you wasting your time.
That's right.
John 3:18, he say, if you don't believe in the Messiah, you condemned already. There ain't no need either. You're not going past go. You're going straight to jail. So y'all, that's why we just want to get back to that point to make, it clear what Paul's mission was. And when and Most High willing, next week, if nobody ever had, we're going to jump into Paul's writing from chapter 11 through 15, and you're going to see the difference that these were not wayward Israelites, that they were going to the Gentile, because they're standing outside the temple. The Pharisees of that day didn't want to hear it. Those are the ones that Christ said, unless your righteousness exceeds theirs, you have no part in the kingdom. Right. Them was the one opposing. But you know what the Gentiles said? We'll come back next week and hear it.
Yep.
We'll hear what your God has to say, because we know he God.
Christ said the children of the kingdom shall be thrust in the outer door.
Boy, look here. Let's get some more. To the Jew first and then to the
Gentiles.
Let's read some more, y'all. We finished that, that's all I wanted to show y'all. That squab, and we get back into Genesis 49, 5 and 7. But what we're talking about is somebody that say they got the word of the Lord and give it to somebody else and curse them in the same breath. Blessings and cursings can't come out the same mouth. What you got back there?
49 verse 7.
Yeah, what it say?
I want to know what this, I need some more understanding on Jacob.
49 and 7?
Yeah.
Okay, let's get back to Genesis 49 and 7. Let's get back there, 49 and 7 of Genesis. Cursed be their anger. See, their anger was misplaced anger. See, it was anger no matter what. We don't care nothing about what daddy said. He raped our sister. He touched my sister. Man, I don't care, man. I don't know nothing about the Lord. See, when your anger get past God's law, statutes, and judgment, you got a problem.
Right.
Because you're taking vengeance in your own hands at this point. Vengeance is who?
The Lord Most High.
That's in the Old and New Testament, ain't it?
Yes, sir.
So what that means is when you make vengeance, you're the judge and jury. And you put aside the sacredness of the holy oracles, which you're going to be judged by. But you make yourself God at this point. Look, I'm going to settle this. We ain't going to court.
Judgment is me. So the second part of that,
Yeah.
scattered them in Israel, explain that part like that.
Where you at?
I will
And-
divide them.
I will divide them in Jacob and scatter them in Israel.
So they would technically have to be sought out through somebody else's tribe. Basically, they need somebody over them to guide them. I'm gonna separate them in there, and you're not gonna be your own until the end of time, and then I'll give you your lot back. But up to this point, you're gonna be separated into them. They'll be your head. You'll never be able to pull this off again with that wicked attitude you got.
Later on down the line, he separated them and put them set apart for himself. He draped them. He put them in the house. He made sure they kept the oracles. They was fed by the people, among the people, you know, at the temple. Also, they really didn't have no real life outside of temple life for real.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying?
And this too, AZ, a lot of people were saying, well, how did Levi get to be the chosen priest of the Most High? And they pull this. Levi was never cursed. His anger was cursed.
Again, there it is. If you go back to
It says, cursed be their anger.
Right.
Verse 6.
For in that anger they slew a man. That anger has to remove from you. You can never say, I'm going to be judge and jury for God.
Right.
That has to go away from you. That's a bring a curse upon you.
That's why Paul said, be angry and sin nothing.
Yeah.
Because your anger could get so overzealous that you'll kill a man.
Yeah,
That you will take a man's life from him
just like that.
and
Now-
stain your own soul.
Yes, sir. Now we see that Balaam and all that was telling Pharaoh they had already put a bad name on us already, and then y'all do this. That's mentioned in the book of Judges. Say first Abraham lied and said Sarah was his sister, and Pharaoh was trying to finna hit on her. Well, that kingdom always hit on other men's wives. That had nothing to do, but this is Balaam trying to soup up to kill Moses. And then he said, and then again Isaac did the same thing. And then do you know that they made a covenant with Shechem and then they slew Shechem and his whole house? These Hebrews are some dirty dogs.
Read Genesis 34 and it breaks down what happened with Dinah, and then how the covenant, Jacob made a covenant with them. They made a covenant, and then they went and slew him. And then Jacob talks about how you put a stain on my name by doing what you did.
Right.
They vowed to come onto the side of the Most High and repent of that evil deed, and y'all didn't give them that opportunity. Because once they vowed the vow and came into this covenant, y'all took their lives from them. Y'all didn't even give them the opportunity of repentance and showing their repentance.
Joshua 33rd chapter breaks it down letter by letter. If y'all ever want to understand what really happened, Genesis is
Right, it's just compacted.
It's compacted all of these books together, so it's going in hundreds of years. But Joshua breaks it down day by day what happened. And what happened is they just went, Dinah and her mother went to see a step show. The daughters came out, and the Hamite saw her. He's like, man, who is that? They're like, that's Jacob's daughter, them Hebrews. He's like, man, I got to have her the wife. Go get her for me. They in charge. They came and took Dinah from her mother, Leah. Leah was her mother. And drug her back But he said, I love her so much, I will marry her. Tell your father, Jacob, everybody get here. We'll join y'all.
Yeah, we'll worship y'all God. We'll do all your customs. Matter of fact, and we'll give a dowry for it. We'll do whatever we got to do to make this all right.
And you know what's going to explain that? Jasher, the 33rd chapter. Verse 1 to the end, you're going to understand it perfectly what Simeon them did. And Levi. So Levi was never cursed to never be a priest. His anger was cursed. And notice what got Moses in trouble. What got Moses in trouble? Huh?
His anger striking the rock.
Do it make sense, y'all? Let's read some more, y'all. We're on short time now. Got a few scriptures to get through. Where we at? What you laughing back there, Zeb?
You know you finna start.
I thought it was introing to a new track.
We still at 49?
That's it, man.
You done with the
Yeah. You cool with that, Shamar, now? Okay.
We're going to Jasher.
We're going to Jasher, y'all. So what we're going to do, we're going to finish up in the 12 patriarchs, because what we want to do is Levi is going to be on his deathbed, and he's going to repeat everything we're teaching. But the testimony has no power unless the testator is dead.
Yes, sir.
So when Levi is on his deathbed finna give up the ghost, then he gave his testimony of what really happened about the priesthood. And he's going to recap everything we already been teaching today. He's going to recap it so you get it straight from the horse's mouth, so to speak, and nobody else. This is him on deathbed. Just like we just read Jacob in 49, he's on his deathbed. This is the 17th year after coming into Egypt. Y'all, it's just flip-flop where we're going, because we're going backwards. Look, we went into Egypt. We had the best places of Goshen. We had the suburbs, y'all. We had good neighborhoods, and then they come in and get jealous and take it over and take it from us. That's how we started in Goshen, and then we went into slavery. But this second 400 years, because we kept disobedient, now we're slaves here in the new land of Egypt, because the boonie birds on the back of your dollar, the pyramids on that. So we're in the daughter of Babylon, or Egypt, so to speak. It's Egypt, but it's run like Babylon and Egypt the same way, captivity. But we're going the opposite way. We started in bondage when we got here. And now we're to the points to where we live in suburbs. Some of us got nice homes. Some of us drive nice cars. Mike Hyel car, I be wanting to take him over to Granite City as soon as I hear it. He got one of them Hellcat motors in there.
You ain't lying, boy.
Huh?
Boy, I just want to get on the highway and open up the lungs on that.
Somebody tell him he a slave suffering now. He's still in captivity up here, but we're on the flip side of how we went into Egypt. First easy, then got hard. We were here at first hard, then it's going to get easy. But both of us still have to pass through the rod. Like we did in the wilderness as we come through the Red Sea. We still got to do that according to Ezekiel 20:33 on down. But we're in the wilderness of the people because he's taking us from the four corners of the earth now. Yes, versus just out of one nation. We're scattered to the four corners. So we're in the wilderness of the people. You in the wilderness now. Ain't no wilderness to go to. Where you going to go that the mark of the beast ain't going to reach you? You still got to spend money and eat, don't you?
Yes, sir.
Where you going to get a fuel supply to keep you warm in the wintertime? With no money. You think you out there and they going to fly a drone over your safety zone and it's going to report back, Israelites separating themselves, not to be touched, not to be touched. You think that's going to happen? When all of Daniel 7 through 9 tells us he shall make war with the saints and she'll do what?
Work them out. Yeah.
Unless you're not a saint out there.
He says, go rest a little season till your fellow brethren have been killed in like manner.
Like you were.
As you were. Be fulfilled.
Be fulfilled.
All the prophets, well, not all the prophets, but most of the prophets, most of the disciples, most of the apostles were murdered.
Yeah.
Were martyred
Yeah.
for the word and the testimony of Christ. Now, if you ain't willing for that life, you ain't ready for that, find you something else to do.
Find you something else to do. It's better that you don't get into this. Find you something to do. Be a well man at church. And that's everything the preacher say. You just holler, well. Practice at home in the mirror. Wow. Wow.
If you out somewhere hiding, what lost sheep you waking up?
Oh, boy!
Sorry, I'm just saying. I'm trying to figure that part out.
You the what?
You out hiding, what lost sheep are you waking up?
Boy, you like Bernie Mac told Samuel, you the dog. Let's get some more, y'all. We got to get caught up.
Besides, they got cell phones while they out there.
Yeah, oh boy,
What you
look
running
at
from?
Look, you're gonna be tracked on a cell phone. Who you gonna pay your wireless bill to? No man shall buy, sell, or trade. Who you gonna pay your wireless bill
Man,
to?
there's so many people that already sold out. They taking the jab. They scared. They scared of losing their comfortable comfort zone. They're already falling for the okie doke.
Yeah.
They're already falling for the okie doke. And they saying if you done got the jab, now you gotta continue getting boosted.
Yeah.
So what's the purpose?
What's the purpose, y'all? Y'all see John Boy's track, Kyrie Irving. Y'all know what we talking about. Let's get it, y'all. Jasher chapter 63. Y'all, we gonna show Levi dying. I'm talking about the original boy of the 12, the third son, on his deathbed when we were in Egypt. Y'all, there was no slavery before then. They were still trying to manipulate like they doing now, setting up different crack laws and bait cars in our neighborhood, different things. They were still doing that to us, but we were not in bondage. We're going to see that Levi was always sharp up here. Levi always saw things ahead of time, and he opted out. Levi opted out of slavery. Levi didn't make one brick with straw or nothing. Not one. Let's read. We're going to see it, bro. I see you looking at me like you ain't telling the truth. But we're going to get to it.
You say, I see it in your face.
Yeah. Jasher chapter 63, y'all.
You ain't got to tell me I see it.
Jasher. This is in this book. Do you have Jasher down there? Anybody got a lost book? Okay. You can pull it up. Do you have a smartphone? But here, yeah, go ahead, Lysa.
I'm gonna let the sister read.
Okay.
Here, you can read mine.
63.
I got it on the screen.
63 and 1.
And I just
And see, sister, also, you'll see in here that it's referencing Joshua 10:13, the book of Joshua 10:13, and 2 Samuel 1:18 tell us to study out of the book of Jasher. So it's word, and it can't break law. If it break law, we put it down. Let's get it, y'all.
The book of Jasher, chapter 63, verse 1.
Read a little louder, Zell.
And in the 93rd year died Levi.
In the what?
The 93rd year died Levi, the son of Jacob, in Egypt.
Where he died?
In Egypt.
Uh-huh.
And Levi was 137 years old when he died.
Uh-huh.
And they put him into a coffin, and he was given unto the hands of his children.
Right.
And it came to pass after the death of Levi, when all Egypt saw that the sons of Jacob, the brethren of Joseph, were dead, all the Egyptians began to afflict the children of Jacob.
You know why? Because previously, y'all, they was making deals that the Pharaoh before had made a proclamation. Y'all know how we see proclamation every time somebody go down to City Hall, they make a proclamation for this day. It's proclamation. He made a proclamation. Nobody touched the children of Israel under no circumstances. That's what he did for Joseph, because Joseph revealed the dream to him. Wow. So y'all, the original 12 brothers was on lock. Couldn't none of the other Egyptians mess with them. They had it on lock. But soon as Levi, the last brother, gave up the ghost, and you scroll back in your Jasher, you'll see when all the other brothers died.
Right.
And you'll see Levi, they said, oh, we can get them now. Yeah. That proclamation over, all them niggas, we don't care about their children. No, it was made to them.
Right. Not to their children's children.
And you understand the same thing happened in this land of captivity with Martin Luther King. They locked his records down for 40 years. But now when those years are up, now they're releasing all things. They don't care about his children hearing about his escapades. What he was doing with all his members.
Literally.
Literally. They were going to release all of it.
Yeah.
What J. Edgar Hoover never leave, but they tried to let his children outlive it. But since it's been this many years and a whole generation has passed, that was a generation. So now they saying we're going to release it. Most of these children don't even know who Martin Luther King is.
What about his mom and his little brother getting knocked at the same time?
They don't.
Who?
Martin Luther King Jr.
His mama and his brother.
Yeah.
Knocked at the same time he was?
Yeah.
They didn't get knocked at the same time. His mother got killed years later.
Yeah.
His mother was killed in the 70s.
Well, what we're talking about is one that goes to Pharaoh. This is what we're talking about to make. Martin Luther King was
She
like...
got killed at the piano
Yeah.
while she was playing the piano in the church.
They killed... Well,
They
that's
blew
terrible.
her brains out. The dude shot her with a shotgun.
But what we're talking about is the men of Israel who's supposed to be our leaders. Martin Luther King was the only one that went to the leader and demanded things.
Right.
May not like his way or other things did, but he's the only one. They made an image of him. Farrakhan ain't gonna get an alley named after him. Because he was in with the government on killing Malcolm.
Yeah, he was in on it.
So we understand they're following the same playbook, y'all. Let's read some more, y'all. We gotta get caught up. Where we at?
Rest of verse 2.
Yeah.
And to embitter their lives from that day unto the day of their going forth from Egypt, they took from their hands all the vineyards and fields which Joseph had given unto them, and all the elegant houses.
Oh, the what?
All the elegant houses in which the people of Israel lived.
Yeah.
And all the fat of Egypt.
Oh.
And the Egyptians took all from the sons of Jacob in those days.
Now you see, we had O.G. Maddox on the other day just talk about how they took an 80-acre farm from his parents. Just took the 80-acre farm, just like they taking the land now. Once the proclamation is over, they like, we free, it's a new day today.
It's like Mayfield, Kentucky.
Yeah, we got a new sheriff in town. They're not listening about them old, that old past president made for them. New sheriff in town. Go get all that stuff y'all want from them. Get that back. Ain't no way. Man, they ain't even Egyptians. What they doing living out there in Chesterfield? So to speak. Let's read some more.
Verse 3.
Yeah.
And the hand of all Egypt became more grievous in those days against the children of Israel. And the Egyptians injured the Israelites until the children of Israel were weary of their lives on account of the Egyptians.
Now you notice that they didn't do this until Levi died, the last of the original 12 brothers. Then they pull this power move. So let's get right to it, and we'll see to clear that up even more. Let's get to Jasher. We're gonna flip right over to the 65th chapter, verse 7. So sister, just flip to the 65th chapter, verse 7. And we'll start, and we'll see the counselors of Egypt plotting on Israel. Y'all, they plot on us the same way at night while we sleep. They setting up plans. 65 and 7. They plot on us while we sleep.
My book is in Roman numerals, sister. You know,
so it'll be
we'll go back.
what?
It'll be
6 X's.
No, it'll be LX. You said 65?
65.
LX V1.
Okay.
No.
LXV.
LXV. LXV. V1 it'll be 4, right? V6. I mean,
Behind the V is minus.
That's right.
Boy,
That's right.
public school education.
That was close.
Look, and
Hey, I knew the L and the X.
Well, look, and like we're talking about, yo, this is the difference in what we're talking about, language and all that old word etymology crap. That don't mean nothing when we get down to what it truly means. If we go to English, like say, man, just turn to chapter 65. Same thing, ain't it?
Yeah.
There's 2 more.
Whether it be in Greek,
Boy,
Roman,
look here. Go ahead, bro.
or English.
See verse 7.
Yeah. Y'all start at verse 1. We're gonna get back. 1 through 7 talks about how their advisor was telling them we're gonna get more and mightier than them. You know, it's almost like Trump saying, just bust their head, just bump their head and push them in the back of the car. Like he was after them brothers that the Central Park 5. Right. Lock them all up and throw away the key. This who those advisors were about the children of Israel after Levi died. Go ahead, let's get some of that, bro.
Book of Jasher, verse 65, verse 7.
Yeah.
So the king answered the elders of Egypt and said unto them, this is the plan advised against Israel.
This is the what?
The plan advised against Israel.
Yeah, this is the Tuskegee experiment. It's Black Wall Street. It's the plan advised against Israel.
Psalms 83.
Started in Egypt first. Y'all, it didn't start here. It started with black-skinned individuals, skin black as that chair. Let's read some up.
From which we will not depart.
Behold,
in the land are Pittom and Ramses, cities unfortified against battle. It behooves you and us to build them and to fortify them.
So they want to build up Pittoms and Ramses. So now when you read in the book of Exodus and you see they made bricks from Pittom and Ramses, this is what it's talking about. It was an unfortified city. Y'all understand what I'm saying? It was we built Pithom and Ramses up to protect outside forces to come in and take Egypt. Let's read some up.
Verse 9.
Yeah.
Now therefore go you also and act cunningly toward them.
Act what?
Cunningly toward them. And proclaim a voice in Egypt and in Goshen.
And in where?
And in Goshen.
See, Goshen is where we dwelt. The land of Goshen. We're in Goshen now. Everybody wants a part of Goshen. The Chinese come here and open rice houses. The Arabs come here and open stores on every corner. The Africans come here and open up A1 marts. But have you ever seen an African living on your block? A family of Africans? Have you?
No, they got many mansions out there in the county.
Man, that's Boo Bobby and them move next door to us.
You know another thing you don't see? Them in the grocery store.
See, they'll come and then they'll get right in, then they move out. All they have to do is just get a foothold long enough to get their paperwork. They're only going to be in your neighborhood for a split second. But you're going to know they up there because it's going to be unnatural Canaanite behavior going on. Stomping on the floor and walking. The smell of strange meat like it's been thawed out for a week and then cooked.
Monkey meat.
Yeah, all of that.
Monkey meat and zebra meat.
Oh, boy, look here. Let's read some more.
Baboon knuckles.
Boy, look here. And rice. Let's get some more. Where we at, y'all? We got to get caught up.
Everybody got some rice. Right?
Boy, look here. Everybody got rice. Boy, I can eat rice every day. My wife did a number coming down to the Peabody Housing Project. I'm talking about, boy, we used to tear bags apart. Man, give me a little bit of that. Get your bag off.
Or you did this.
Put it in your hand. Or you did this. Boy, come on, a whole box of rice for $1.15. Where do you get that from? See, they run the mom and pop store off the corner like we had Johnson, what was across the street from Page and Taylor.
Right.
Boy, the other stores,
Mr. Johnson.
when Mr. came in with colder beer.
Yeah, down the street.
And for 50 cents less, run Mr. Johnson out of business. And then he didn't run out. Because Mr. Johnson, give me some of them. All out of it. Give me some of that. All out of it.
Or
give
you
me
get,
all out. You be like, you need to be out of business.
Or you get some chips that was way outdated a year ago.
And y'all, it's not Mr. Johnson's issue. It's the roadblock that he faced when he go out there to get licenses and stuff.
Yep.
These cunningly devised plans while we sleep to stop us from producing at the same time saying, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. We know because of Black Wall Street, they don't mean it. And this last tornado, I'm going to say this in what was that, Alabama? Kentucky, I'm saying. They show a group of white people in the house tore down. Is one wall standing. They got firewood from the house. They sitting out in the cold. But if you look up at the right top hand corner of that wall, there's a Confederate flag.
Yep.
Blowing.
And they had a massive, not race war, because we ain't never been in a race war. We've been race massacres.
It's all massacre, yeah.
We ain't never been in a physical fight with them, man for man, gun for gun. No, they come in and they slaughter. In America's history. And then if you think they playing with us, they drop 2 nuclear bombs on Hiroshima and knocking your socks off. Boom, boom! And ain't no other nation done it.
And they still ain't got socks.
Boy, look here. Let's read some more. Before bro start laughing, you know he throw us off. Go ahead, I'm just messing with you. Boy, look here, you know. Look at that, and you be like, man, your refrigerator don't work this beer warm.
They come around there with that whole shirt hanging out one side.
Right.
Get on out of here.
Right.
That's all I got.
That's all I got. Get on out of here. So that's why they would give you 50 years if you robbed him, because the most you're going to get is a day's wage or maybe $50. If you rob him and go to the next neighborhood and rob the next mom and pop store, and then a pistol is pulled up and you kill them over that low wage, they will lock you up for life. They say you're a menace to society. But if you go in a bank with a note and say, give me that money and not the one with the die on it, 5 years, because it's insured money. No pistol though. Can't go in there with no pistol though. That's 15. But you won't get what you robbed from the mom and pop store. They give you life for that.
Stop giving them options.
I'm saying, look, that's what I'm saying though. I'm saying what the bottom line is. The word I'm ending with is penitentiary. Whether 5 or 15, don't believe that lie you can do it standing on your head.
But the thing is, you have to understand what system you're dealing with.
Right.
Your 5 years, the 5 years for that crime may not apply to you.
Right.
Your 5 years, because you Israel, becomes 50 years.
Yeah. What you got, get it?
Shalom, everyone. I'm working this temp job at the Fairfield company. They make fluff diamonds.
Yeah.
So they got a lot of temps in there. I'm working with this guy. He just got out of the penitentiary. He said, I just got out of doing 40 years. 40 just did a 4-0 spot. He thought it was going to be light. So 40, I guess, is good for him. He got testimony. I said, what did you do? They armed robbery, and they took the person, and they called it a kidnap.
No, boy, you can't.
He did a 40 ball for $200
on some Jordans, all they got. And look, life, you got to understand what life is. Life is 25 years of your life. Life is 25 years. 40 is the additional. If they say with the possibility of parole, they say give him 15 more to see if he's ready for the streets yet. But if they say no parole, life without no parole, you in there till Austin Lane come and get you.
And that was his plea. I plead for 40.
He pled for 40 because they say if you take it to trial, you're going to get 400. See, so now you plead out whether you guilty or not because you don't want to take it to trial. What you got back there, Rich? We got to move on really quickly, y'all. Go ahead, bro.
Just lately, man, I've been digging into the background of all these little towns that's been getting hit by these tornadoes.
Yeah.
And every last one of them, you go into their history. There's a history of hanging, beating, killing, murdering our people.
Race war.
Each and every last one of them.
The Kentucky that just got hit and wiped off the map. Race war. Elaine, Alabama, race war. Joplin, Missouri, race war. And they got, not race war, race massacre. And they got wiped off the planet by hurricane. Do you know every hurricane followed the path of the slave ships? Every one of them.
Every last one.
And hit the shores of the plantation owners. Just to keep it on their mind so they can't erase slavery.
Kentucky's so bad, y'all. When I was in the military, I did basic training in Fort Knox. They had a meeting with all the black recruits. Don't y'all leave, run off of here, because your family will never see you again if you leave this army boat.
With that army uniform on.
They will never find you if you leave this army boat.
Look up Elaine,
I don't care how bad
Arkansas.
it get, don't you run off.
The massacre of Elaine, Arkansas.
They seriously told us.
Black soldiers came back from World War I, and they massacred them in their uniforms because the whites were still angry. And they murdered all these military men in their uniforms, burned down their houses, and those who were, they called the military, the National Guards in, to secure the issue. So all the black families that thought the military was called in for their safety ran towards the military and were shot down by machine gun fire. Read about it. Elaine, Arkansas.
Read about Colin Powell that just died. Came back home, all type of medals on his chest, and thought that wavy hair and light skin in that United States uniform, he thought he could go to the front counter. They say, Negro, you must think it's Halloween with that uniform on. You know you can't come through the front door. Go round back. 2 tours, and he said, go round back. Don't care nothing about that uniform. It ain't Halloween. We don't care nothing about what you got on. You's a nigga.
They massacred over. They say they hung.
Now that's not all of them, y'all.
49 people at one time, and then cut off their body parts as souvenirs and everything. Yeah, in Elaine, Arkansas. But it was more than 300 people that were killed. But they say at one time they hung about 49 soldiers at one time.
Who made Strange Fruit? What's her name?
Billie Holiday.
Billie Holiday.
But it was actually written by an Edomite. It was a poem written by an Edomite, and she was. It was given to her to perform.
Well, Esau and Jacob, we always been together. They always led the civil rights. They was always with it. The Cheney boys got killed with them, so they always been close by us. But they just proxy. I don't know another word to use for it, but what they do, they set wars up between people. They always been with us to get their agenda across because they know us, who we are, and they're saying the Lord gonna bless us no matter what. If I'm with y'all, bless. That's why Deuteronomy 23:7, don't abhor any Edomite, not the whole tribe. Not all of them are bad. So we can't never call all or nothing God created all bad. And we're gonna get here because we keep saying the 12 tribes is bad as hell, ain't they? Look, ain't no other nation been cast out of their land by God, have they? Nope. We have though, ain't we? Let's read some more, y'all. Let's get caught up real quick. But we just not wanting y'all to think that we're double talking anything. We're just explaining to you nothing has changed under this captivity. You cannot outrun Deuteronomy 28. I don't care where you go on this planet. Deuteronomy 28 gonna be right there.
Amos chapter 5 says,
yes, sir.
If you go down, you dig down to the deepest ditch, I'll get you from there.
Down there.
And pull your butt up and deal with it. If you flee to Egypt, I'll get you there. You ain't gonna escape this captivity. His word won't come back void. It was given by the prophets. It ain't coming back void. I don't care where you run on this earth. He said Israel is scattered to the four corners of the earth, and so is his captivity.
Yes, sir. Where we at, bro? 65 and what?
You said
7? Yeah, let's get it.
Verse 7.
Yeah, no, you was in 10.
Yeah, he's in verse 10.
I mean,
we're in Jasher. I'm sorry, Jasher 65.
Chapter 65, verse 7.
Yeah, what it say?
So the king answered the elders of Egypt and said unto them, this is the plan advised against Israel, from which we will not depart. Behold, in the land of Pithom and Ramses, cities unfortified against battle, it behooves you and us to build them and to fortify them. Now therefore, go you also and act cunningly toward them, and proclaim a voice in Egypt and in Goshen at the command of the king, saying, all ye men of Egypt, Goshen, Pathros, and all their inhabitants, the king has commanded us to build Pithom and Ramses, and to fortify them for battle. Who amongst you of all Egypt, of the children of Israel, and of all the inhabitants of the cities, are willing to build with us, shall each have his wages given to him daily at the king's order. So go you first and do cunningly, and gather yourselves and come to Pithom and Ramses to build.
So he offered the job to everybody, all nations, Egypt, everybody else had it, but that was only to draw us to the work spot.
Right.
You know, and once they say, we gonna fix this once y'all get there, but we just need them to think that it's work for everybody.
You're going to get wages.
You're going to get good wages.
You're going to get paid.
Yeah. Let's get some more.
Verse 11. And whilst you are building, cause a proclamation of this kind to be made throughout Egypt every day at the commandment of the king.
A proclamation, y'all, this means it goes into writing. Go ahead.
And when some of the children of Israel shall come to build with you, You shall give them their wages daily for a few days. And after they shall have built with you for their daily hire, drag yourself away from them daily, one by one in secret, and then you shall rise up and become their taskmasters and officers. And you shall leave them afterward to build without wages.
To build without what?
Without wages. And should they refuse, then force them with all your might to build.
See, now that happened to us coming into this land. Forced us, 0 sending out. And look, and when they say we're going to let you off the plantation, you can be your own people. Then you can be your own planters and farmers and different things. But guess what? They say you got to rent the equipment from us. And when you realize that all the stuff you turned in, you still in the hole with them for about $50. And you like, they're like, well, you own for the plow, you own for the shovel, you own for the seed. And some of them, they say, well, who all don't leave the plantation, we're going to give you, you can keep your job, but we're going to pay you. Everybody else who leave, you're on your own. This one plantation had 380 people, only one left. Because now you're in the mindset, we ain't going to make it. We ain't going to make it. We ain't going to make it. Let's read some more. 14.
Verse 14. And if you do this, it will be well with us to strengthen our land against the children of Israel. For on account of the fatigue of the building and the work, the children of Israel will decrease, because you will deprive them from their wives day by day.
See, when you out there all day and all night, you ain't got no time to come home and hanky-panky, and the sun is just 10 hours away from coming up again, and you got to start it all over again. They say, can't be no weak knees out here.
We'll find a way.
What else to say? Right, we did. And look, that was the problem they had. Nothing worked against us. They like, these Negroes are like roaches. And y'all know a judge in Louisiana just lost her job by a man breaking in her house, her and her children hollering. They caught the nigger out there. She said the nigger like a roach. Now she's a sitting judge.
Now they finna
open up all her cases. I'm sorry, everybody knows that me and my husband, we are not that type of people. Oh, so you just saying nigga because you ain't got nothing else to say. Yeah, then I'm on medication. So you really shouldn't be sitting on the bench.
Yeah, you're a dope fiend too.
You're a dope fiend. Hold that, y'all. Y'all read all that, but we're going to skip down to some points because I got to get through a couple other things. Jump down to verse 21. Y'all read the whole chapter. Jump down to verse 21. Read that. Then we're going to jump over to 32 on out.
Verse 21.
Yeah.
And all the servants of Pharaoh and his princes came at first with deceit to build with all Israel as daily hired labor. And they gave to Israel their daily hire at the beginning.
And as y'all keep reading that, y'all gonna see they backed off the money. Y'all, it's the same thing they did to the Israelites that went over to Israel with Benjamin Carter and them. They say they will work 30 days and they would tell him, man, I don't got no record of you work. He like, man, you was the one gave me the shovel. Well, we ain't got no money, come back in a week. Y'all know that's what they was doing to them over there in Dimona.
Then they locked her. They can't get back home.
Personally, no, we got people over there. Akda and his wife Yisraela. Tell us what they was doing. You've been waiting 30 days and then they say, ain't no money. Deuteronomy stretches to Dimona, Israel, y'all. They can't escape it. Let's read some more, right? Jump down to verse 32. Y'all read everything in between.
Yes. Verse 32. But the children of Levi were not employed in the work with their brethren of Israel from the beginning until the day of their going forth from Egypt. For all the children of Levi knew that the Egyptian had spoken all these words with deceit to Israelites. Therefore, the children of Levi refrained from approaching to the work with their brethren.
See, Levi never went. Levi said, "This a hustle move." Man, don't y'all go out there, man. They gonna have y'all.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Don't get you.
Jump right down, y'all.
Say free chicken on the boat, on the slave ship.
Right, and lured us right on there, didn't they? Jump to 69 and 9. Same Jasher, 69 and 9, y'all. Then we're gonna get out of here. out of this one, and we're going to get right to these last few scripts while we got about a half hour. 69 and 9 of the same Joshua. We need to back it up, Elijah. What you say?
That tournament is on me.
Oh, yeah, you heard it. They heard
I ain't understand none of that.
I think we got another. I'll do this. 69 and 9.
Yeah, then we'll be going to Levi. That'll be on that. 69.
69.
4.
Talk about verse 4. Y'all read 1 through 4. Go ahead.
Huh? Go to 4?
No, yeah, jump 69. What I got down here? 4. Huh?
69, 4 through 9.
Oh, there it is, 4. Who said?
You did.
Okay, all right. I'm just checking, seeing if y'all still awake. I see y'all very astute today.
Chapter 69, verse 4.
What it say?
And when Pharaoh, king of Egypt, saw that the counsel which Balaam had advised respecting the children of Israel did not succeed, but that still they were fruitful, multiplied, and increased throughout the land of Egypt.
What Zeb just said. But this the same Balaam that you read in Numbers 20th chapter through the 28th chapter. The same one that was a magician in Egypt. He was the one plotting on us. He was the one that sang when the ass spoke. You know, I'm not talking about Megan the Stallion. I'm talking about a donkey. You know, it spoke with a man's voice. This the same Balaam that told him you can't curse him. All you can do is set traps for him. But you can't curse him. I can't curse him. There's no prophecy to curse him from God's promise. Let's read some more. What else to say?
Verse 5.
Yeah.
Then Pharaoh commanded in those days that a proclamation should be issued throughout Egypt to all the children of Israel, saying, no man shall diminish anything of his daily labor. And the man who shall be found deficient in his labor, which he performs daily, whether in mortar or in bricks, then his youngest son shall be put in their place.
So if you run out of mortar or you run out of brick, your baby son had to fill that hole in the wall. Go get that boy, slap some mortar on him.
Yep.
There's a wall, y'all.
That's built with babies in it.
If y'all don't believe that's possible, Google right now. Skull wall found in basement of Vatican. You'll see where they built a wall with the skulls of babies.
Yes.
Y'all, when y'all see that picture there, y'all gonna understand this perfectly. Let's read some more. Go ahead.
It was a practice in Romania. There's many tombs in Romania built with human skulls and bodies. It was one of their practices.
Verse 7. And the labor of Egypt strengthened upon the children of Israel in those days. And behold, if one brick was deficient in any man's daily labor, the Egyptians took his youngest boy by force from his mother and put him into the building in the place of the brick which his father had left wanted. And the men of Egypt did so to all the children of Israel, day by day, all the days for a long period. But the tribe of Levi.
But the who?
But the tribe of Levi did not at any time work with the Israelites, their brethren, from the beginning.
From the
beginning, for the children of Levi knew the cunning of the Egyptians, which they had exercised at first toward the Israelites.
So they never went to work.
Right.
The other 11 tribes were slaving for free. And it's the same way today is why they don't, all the preachers on the plantation never worked the fields. They would just move them from plantation to plantation to teach the children of Israel to obey their master. But they got the best of everything. They would not put out in the fields, and then they would attack the one who was teaching, like Cicero. When y'all look at Mandingo or Drum, Cicero was like a Nat Turner, so to speak. Mention. What mention means, Cicero? Mention mean to be spoken of. And he's teaching them the Bible, but they hid under candlelight. They put him to death. And he told him, he said, and when you hang me, kiss my black donkey. But he didn't use that word. Yeah. Testament of Levi, y'all. Because of time, y'all read, we're going to read just the first chapter, ain't but a few verses. Y'all read all of the testament of Levi, because what he's going to do, he's going to go into detail on his deathbed of everything we just went over. From his lips, telling his sons, y'all, this the deal. Me and Simeon killed a man with anger that should never be displayed. Let's get it. Where we at?
Testament of Levi.
Yes, sir. Chapter 1. You got it, Nat Turner?
Yep. The Testament of Levi, chapter 1, verse 1. The copy of the words of Levi, the things which he ordained unto his sons, according to all that they should do, and what things should befall them until the day of judgment.
Right.
He was sound in health when he called them to him, for it had been revealed to him that he should die. And when they were gathered together, he said to them, I, Levi, was born in Haran.
Where was he born?
Haran.
Uh-huh.
And I came with my father to Shechem. And I was young, about 20 years of age, when with Simeon I wrought vengeance on Hamor for our sister Dinah.
See, Dinah. What did he route?
Vengeance.
Vengeance. See, Shamar, that's what we're talking about. He routed vengeance. So his father telling him, what curse be your anger? Go ahead. What else to say, bro?
Okay. Verse 5.
Yeah.
Verse 6, I'm sorry. And when I was feeding the flocks in Abel Mall, the spirit of understanding of the Lord came upon me. And I saw all men corrupting their way, and that unrighteousness had built for itself walls, and lawlessness sat upon towers. And I was grieving for the race of the sons of men, and I prayed to the Lord that I might be saved. Then there fell upon me a sleep, and I beheld a high mountain, and I was upon it. And behold, the heavens were open, and an angel of the Most High said to me, Levi, enter. And I entered from the first heaven, and I saw there a great sea hanging. And further I saw a second heaven, far brighter and more brilliant, for there was a boundless light also therein.
Uh-huh.
And I said to the angel, why is there so?
Why is this so?
And the angel said to me, marvel not at this, for thou shalt see another heaven more brilliant and incomparable.
Uh-huh.
And when thou hast ascended thither, thou shalt stand near the Lord, and thou shalt be his minister, and shalt declare his mysteries to men, and shalt proclaim concerning him that shall redeem Israel.
Uh-huh.
And by thee and Judah shall the Lord appear among men, saving every race of men.
By thee and Judah. Remember, because he was spread into Judah. Remember? Let's read some more.
Verse 15.
Yeah.
And from the Lord's portion shall be thy light.
Uh-huh.
And he shall be thy field and thy vineyard, and fruits, gold and silver. Hear therefore regarding the heavens which have been shown to thee. The lowest is for this cause gloomy unto thee, in that it beholds all the unrighteous deeds of men, and it has fire, snow, and ice made ready for the day of judgment, and the righteous judgment of God.
Uh-huh.
For in it are all the spirits of the retribution for vengeance on men. And in the second are the host of the armies which are ordained for the day of judgment, to work vengeance on the spirits of the sea and of Belair.
The depth.
Verse 20.
Yeah.
And above them are the holy ones. And in the highest of all dwelleth the great glory, far above all holy.
See, this is the Father's throne. He said above that is great glory, above all these heavens. Let's read some more.
Verse 22.
Yeah.
In the heaven next to it are the archangels, who minister and make propitiation to the Lord for all the sins of ignorance and for all the sins of ignorance of the righteous, offering to the Lord a sweet-smelling Savior, a reasonable and a bloodless offering.
Uh-huh.
And in the heaven below, this are the angels who bear answers to the angels of the presence of the Lord. And in the heaven next to this are thrones and dominions, in which always they offer praise to God. When, therefore, the Lord looketh upon us, all of us are shaken. Yea, the heavens and the earth and the abyss are shaken at the presence of his majesty. But the sons of men, having no perception of these things, sin and provoke the Most High.
See, now when you get through chapter 2 through 5, you're going to see Levi mention the Messiah. And this is going to be like this. I was just giving this priesthood to the Messiah come. Then I'll be part of his camp. And this is Levi talking before we went to Egypt. This vision he had. He's recounting on the vision that he had at Bethel. This is where he's going through first. So it matches up with everything we already saw. We was going to try to get to all of them, but we got just a couple more scripts to do that we need. So y'all make sure y'all read chapter 2 through 5 of Levi, and it's going to clear it up to who the order of Melchizedek. It's going to actually say, I put on the garments of Melchizedek. Right. So y'all keep reading. If you don't keep reading, you're going to be asking, man, did anybody keep reading? Do your homework. That's one of the homework. Chapter 2 through 5 of the Testament of Levi, so you can understand when Levi himself uses the word, I put on Melchizedek, before we went to Egypt. So y'all, we're going to skip that, but we still need to see why was Levi chosen after Mount Sinai. So real quick, y'all, give me some Deuteronomy 32. And I'll tell you what, give me Numbers 3 and 43, and then we're going to jump to Deuteronomy 32. And then we're going to hit Malachi and Ezekiel, and we'll close out, y'all. Numbers 3:43. You may need to back it up if you need to, Nat Turner. You make it start at 40. And y'all, this is going to be why the firstborn of all Israel, when it says that every Israelite give their firstborn, but he discounted Levi. But there's a reason why he discounted Levi. When we get into Deuteronomy 32, you're going to see why, dealing with the golden calf. So we may need to go there first and then come to this Numbers.
Go where?
Go to Deuteronomy 32 first. Right where when he come off the mount, and Joshua saw it. We may need to go to, so y'all can see that first, and then we'll jump back.
Talking about what they killed.
Yeah, they moved me to jealousy. Okay. You see where I want? Where I want? Right there, where they made the golden calf. Huh?
16.
16. Okay, that's what I want. Okay.
So starting 16.
Yeah.
All right, Exodus chapter 32, verse 16.
Deuteronomy.
Oh, Deuteronomy.
Yes, sir. Is that what I want? I want to make sure. Is that the golden calf? That's what I want to make sure. Okay.
Yeah. Deuteronomy 32?
Yes, sir.
16?
And y'all see, yeah.
All right, Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 16.
Uh-huh.
They provoked him to jealousy with strange gods.
With what kind of gods?
Strange gods.
Gods of Egyptian. They had 380 gods. Bird head gods.
Alligator head gods.
Alligator head gods.
Cats.
Fish head.
Fish head gods. Go ahead. Read some more.
With abominations provoked they him to anger. They sacrificed unto devils and not to God.
What did they do?
Sacrificed to devils and not to God.
Ain't that the same thing Paul spoke of? He said, look, an idol is nothing. Demons and devils are real. If one bid you to a feast of the unbelieving, they say, don't worry about that, because if they bid you, it says bid and observe should you go. If they call you, say, look, man, I know you don't get down like that, but look, me and my wife anniversary, man, you cool with us. We want you to come by and just eat with us. We know you don't eat no pork, so it ain't gonna be none of that. We know you don't do that, so it ain't gonna be none of that. So, and then you be disposed to go. You say, okay, well, I'll come on through there. Irrespective, they please to dwell with me. You can go to that. But it say, if they tell you this sacrifice to demons and devils, it say, eat not for conscience sake. Because you know if you bit into that piece of meat, they say, sacrifice the Molech, and you biting and chomping. I'm talking about bicuspid ain't worked like that since Surf sandwich days. Let's read some more. Yes, sir.
And there's the legendary, quote, higher education institution. I told the deacon about this. Also University. One day I'm going through the cafeteria.
Yeah.
And, they're giving food and pleasure to people. I walked in there, I like to eat.
Yeah.
But this is righteous eating.
Right.
But anyway, they got candles on top of cakes and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay? This is about, we're remembering those who went before us.
Right.
And we're in remembrance, we're having this feast.
Right.
Y'all know y'all worshiping the dead now. Y'all ain't supposed to be doing it. Now, we just want to keep them in remembrance.
Right.
You can't I said, thank you, but I'll take the Frito-Lays and stuff.
Yeah.
Not the cake with the candle.
Right, absolutely.
And we was out.
Well, look, gotta make sure the Frito-Lays wasn't offered too.
No, that's in the other section.
Right, look, make sure the Frito-Lays wasn't the horse overtures.
That was part of it.
Hors d'oeuvres, I should say. That's the way it looked like it spelled. Right.
It was a sacrifice.
Right.
With the fire.
Yes, sir. Let's get it, y'all. We run out of
The
time.
whole meal was sacrificed.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Verse 17 again.
Yeah.
They sacrificed unto devils and not to God. To gods whom they knew not.
Right.
To new gods that came newly up, whom your fathers feared not.
Look, we got people talking about new gods popping up now. For real. Gods of the universe. I'm just spiritual. Well, what's its name? Does it have any law, statutes, or judgment? What happens when I just become spiritual? What if I mess up? What happens? Who blesses me when I do good? Now, I ain't wasn't all of that. See, politics and religion, I stay away from. Oh, okay. Let's read some more.
Verse 18.
Yeah.
Of the rock that begat thee, thou art unmindful, and hast forgotten God that formed thee.
Who was that rock?
Christ.
They say that rock was Christ when we was baptized coming through the Red Sea. They say upon that rock, and that rock was Christ. Christ has always been around. He's the high priest of the Most High in the order of Melchizedek. The Father don't come down for nothing. It say when we're in New Jerusalem, it say then we will see the face of the Most High. But you know how we're going to see it? The heavens going to open back up like they was when Adam was in the Garden of Eden. He's still not going to come down here and be just walking amongst us. We'll be able to look up to him and see it's the Father. Morning, Father. What's the morning greeting?
Bo-Katan.
But Christ will be walking in the midst of us because the power is on him. He's the judge. He's the ruler of planets. Say, my Father has given me power over what? Heaven and earth.
In all flesh, in all souls. Read Colossians chapter 1 and Colossians 2. Because he talks about Christ being the first creation of all creation. And then he goes on and say everything was created by him for him.
What did it say, Lysa?
Everything was created by him and for him.
Y'all understand that?
But then if you go into chapter 2, it talks about when Paul is telling you, don't leave the order in which was given to you. So what order is that? That's the order of Melchizedek in which you learn, not the order of Aaron.
Because he was Aaron. He was a Pharisee.
Right.
And the chiefest of them, he ordered the death of Stephen. Let's read some more, y'all.
Verse 19.
Yeah.
And when the Lord saw it, he abhorred them because of the provoking of his sons and of his daughters. And he said, I will hide my face from them. I will see what their end shall be, for they are a very froward generation. Children in whom is no faith.
Children in whom is no what?
Faith.
What is faith doing in the Old Testament? Unless it's talking about Messiah. Let's read some more.
Verse 21.
Yeah.
They have moved me to jealousy with that which is not God. They have provoked me to anger with their vanity.
With their what?
Vanity. And I will move them to jealousy with those which are not a people. I will provoke them to anger with a foolish nation. For a fire is kindled in my anger, and shall burn unto the lowest hell, and shall consume the earth with her increase, and set on fire the foundations of the mountains. I will heap mischiefs upon them. I will spin my arrows upon them. They shall be burnt with hunger, and devoured with burning heat, and with bitter destruction. I will also send the teeth of beasts upon them, with the poison of serpents of the dust.
And he did it.
The sword without and terror within shall destroy both the young man and the virgin, the suckling also with the man of gray hairs. I said, I would scatter them into corners. I would make the remembrance of them to cease from among men. Were it not that I feared the wrath of the enemy, lest their adversaries should behave themselves strangely, and lest they should say, our hand is high, and the Lord hath not done all this. For they are a nation void of counsel.
What are they?
Void of counsel.
Void of counsel. Don't want to hear nothing from nobody. Void of it. Go ahead, bro.
Neither is there any understanding in them. Oh, that they were wise, that they understood this, that they should consider their latter end. How should one chase 1,000 and two put 10,000 to flight, except their rock has sold them?
Except that what has showed them?
Rock has sold them.
Now let's get right, hold that right there. Y'all read all the rest of that, but get Numbers 30 and start about verse 40. And this gonna let you know that what happened at Mount Sinai while Levi was chosen again. Numbers chapter 3, start about verse 40.
You said number 30.
Huh? No. I said, that's what I got right there, Elijah. What'd that say right there?
I know what you said. I know what's on the If I had already had it wrote down, I'd have been confused. But you said,
don't make me complicit in your crime.
I'm just asking what I got wrote right there. What I got wrote right there?
I see what you got written right there now.
Okay. Yo, that may be just a little bit of that dyslexia working, you know. I'm a little past the halfway mark, y'all.
Getting long in the tooth.
Yes, sir.
Again, where we going?
Numbers chapter 3.
Verse 40.
43.
We're going to start at 40, though.
You going to start at 40?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yes, sir. I'm positive.
It's on Ariel.
Yeah,
It's on you,
That only one young grasshopper.
Huh?
That was the only one you did.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, trust me, he know he ain't gonna let nobody read his.
Alright, Numbers chapter 3, verse 40.
I bet that was
Right,
an
because if I would have
Exodus.
moved too fast, then you would have been jumping down.
I bet that was an Exodus. I was looking for. Keep going, though. Maybe that was Exodus. Hold on, y'all. Now, see, y'all done thrown me off.
You talking about when he killed 1,000?
That's what I want. See, that was Exodus 32.
I knew I was in the right spot.
You said it, didn't you?
Yeah.
Who took you to do what that said?
As soon as you said the golden calf,
You want when he killed 3,000?
That's what I want.
Yeah, that's it.
And then I want this number.
so we're going to Exodus.
We're going to Exodus 32.
You want me to start in 1?
I want you to start at 17. And we're only going to read just a little bit of this, y'all. And we're going to go down to 28, and they're going to say this is why Levi was chosen. Levi was the only tribe that pulled weapons on them calf makers.
32 and 25 on down.
Yeah, start about 17 though, like.
Exodus.
Boy, it's getting late today, y'all. That's why we got to almost wrap it up, y'all. We starting to get, look, that itis is setting in. People eating good.
Exodus 32.
I thought that's what you wanted, but I thought you had another point you was making.
I thought I had it wrote down now.
That's what I was like. I'm so like, why we up in here?
I don't know, bro.
Yeah, because I knew it.
Somebody threw me
I knew
off.
that was the other reason why he was chosen, but I thought he might have had some other
else, you know, Elijah.
some other topic.
Yeah.
But, you know.
Let's get it.
Exodus chapter 32, verse 17.
Yes, sir.
And when Joshua heard the noise of the people as they shouted, He said unto Moses, there is a noise of war in the camp.
See, that's what tomfoolery sounds like. It sounds like war. You think it's soldiers in there, but they fighting a different way. Go ahead.
Verse 18.
Uh-huh.
And he said, it is not the voice of them that shout for mastery, neither is it the voice of them that cry for being overcome, but the noise of them that sing do I hear. And it came to pass, as soon as he came nigh unto the camp, that he saw the calf.
What'd he see?
The calf.
Uh-huh.
And the dancing.
And what else he see?
The dancing.
Uh-huh.
And Moses' anger waxed hot.
See, Moses' anger waxed hot again, and we already know what Levi did. Slew a man in his what?
Anger.
What tribe is Moses from? Let's read some more.
And he cast the tablets out of his hand.
Uh-huh.
And brake them beneath the mount.
So when Moses came down with the first 2 sets of 10 commandments was written back there on the wall, that was our marriage covenant. That was our marriage certificate. These are the rules of the marriage. I'm finna marry y'all, Israel. Jeremiah 3 tells us 3:8, 3:14 through 14 tells us I'm married to y'all. That's what he tells us. He said, I'm the husbandman. Ezekiel 16, he said, when I took y'all from Jerusalem, I washed y'all, I cleaned y'all up. And then when the time of love came, I spread my covering over y'all. I put y'all in these clothes, I put y'all in the best houses. That's what a husband's supposed to do. That's his due benevolence. So we see is what provoked him to jealousy when we went after strange gods that wouldn't give us a quarter. They take everything back, just like this God of this world. Do as thou wilt, then they take it all back. Before you die, you ends up with Nathan. Let's read some more.
Verse 20.
Yeah.
And he took the calf which they had made, and burned it in the fire, and grounded it to powder, and strawed it upon the water, and made the children of Israel drink of it.
See, now that's why we had to sacrifice and drink. That's where sacrificing was coming in. We had just been saved. There was no need to sacrifice for sin. So when you hear people saying there wasn't no sacrifice, it was no sacrifice for sin. This when it came back in, and it's a calf. So that's why we started, after coming right out of my, had to start sacrificing again for sin. Where you think fringes came from? In the wilderness. What was that about?
Presumptuous sin.
So how you gonna holler fringes more? You gonna holler the Holy Spirit? And it was in the creation of the world. Which one came first? One is about disobedience. The other one is the gift from God.
That's right.
How you gonna brag on fringes unless it's just about culture? Y'all, it's our culture. But to say you got your fringes on, they have to remind you to keep the law. What happens when you get naked?
You go crazy.
Oh boy, look at it. Go ahead. Let's get some more, boy. Let's get some more, boy. Go ahead. Yo, we got about 10 minutes. Go ahead.
Verse 21.
Yeah.
And Moses said unto Aaron, what did this people unto thee, that thou hast brought so great a sin upon them? And Aaron said, let not the anger of my Lord wax hot. Thou knowest the people, that they are set on mischief.
What is Israel set on?
Mischief. For they said unto me, make us gods, which shall go before us. For as for this Moses, the man that brought us up out of the land of Egypt, we wot not what is become of him.
See, and it's the same thing that Muslims, when you hear these nations of Islam say the same thing, man, y'all still waiting on some guy to come out of the cloud. But you want us to worship this man you got on the picture with slick Mo Stooges hair. And you're saying he's God. Y'all seen Far with that hair flipped to the side? Look just like Mo Stooges. Let's read some more.
Verse 24.
Yeah.
And I said unto them, whosoever hath any gold, let them break it off. So they gave it me. Then I cast it into the fire, and there came out this calf.
See, and that was called run them pockets this day. Who got some gold? Break it off. See, y'all, these terms come out of the Bible. He got wasted, and he was wet. Count him as a mark. What y'all think these terms? These youngsters ain't making this up. This come from the scripture. Count him as a mark.
Old talk.
He's a mark.
Ancient talk.
Let's read some more.
Fish out heathen.
No, that's...
No. That comes from saying,
That come from Fred Sanford, boy.
That's
see that. Okay, yeah, okay. Oh, all right. Okay. Yes, sir. Okay. All right, yeah, okay. Boy, you clean that up good. Okay, go ahead, bro.
Verse 25.
Yeah.
And when Moses saw that the people were naked.
What did Moses see the people were?
Naked. For Aaron had made them naked unto their shame among their enemies.
So we see again, to be naked don't mean you don't have no clothes on. It means that when you're shamed, it's like the drawers got snatched off of you. So that's what it's so. Eve and the Most High asked them, how y'all know y'all was naked? If it was about clothes, he'd be like, look at us, Lord. Right. We ain't got nothing on. No. But naked to shame because they were embarrassed. That's why Adam hid himself. So to be made naked, and when you telling somebody, so, man, come in, man, snatch the drawers off of them. So you just think somebody came in and just give me these drawers off of you. And you just standing there naked. No, it means they expose your wickedness.
Your folly is exposed.
It was exposed, you're naked. Let's read some more.
You also can read another example of that in Jeremiah chapter 13.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 26.
Yeah.
Then Moses stood in the gate of the camp and said, who is on the Lord's side?
What he asked?
Who is on the Lord's side? Let him come unto me.
Right.
And all the sons of Levi gathered themselves together unto him. And he said unto them, thus saith the Lord God of Israel, put every man his sword by his side, and go in and out from gate to gate throughout the camp, and slay every man his brother.
And do what?
And slay every man his brother.
Y'all see Levi was killing the other 11 tribes? Go ahead.
And every man his neighbor. And the children of Levi did according to the word of Moses.
Who did it?
The children of Levi. And there fell of the people that day about 3,000 men. For Moses had said, consecrate yourselves today to the Lord, even every man upon his son and upon his brother, that he may bestow upon you a blessing this day.
So y'all read the rest of that and you see what happened. That's why the tribe of Levi was selected. Now we get to Numbers 3:40 through 45, y'all. And we're going to hit these last two one-liners and we're going to close out. Now we're into Numbers 3 and 40. Y'all had to wipe these glasses off somehow.
Oh, now it's the glass.
Maybe it's the shoe.
You laughing about that, about AZ? Let's get it, y'all, real quick. We got about 7 minutes.
Reading in the book of Numbers, chapter 30, starting the reading at verse 4.
Chapter 30?
I mean, you know what I mean.
Yeah, okay.
No, we don't know.
Reading in the book of
He
Numbers.
just trying me, yo. He just trying me.
Hold on, I thought I was a half minute late.
Go ahead.
Reading in the book of Numbers, chapter 3 and verse 40. All right, let's get some understanding.
Yes, sir.
And the Most High said unto Moses, number all the firstborn of the males of the children of Israel, from a month old and upward, and take the number of their names. And thou shalt take the Levites for me.
Who you gonna take?
The Levites. I am the Lord.
Right.
Instead of all the firstborn among the children of Israel, and the cattle of the Levites instead of all the firstlings among the cattle of the children of Israel. And Moses numbered, as the Most High commanded him, all the firstborn among the children of Israel, and all the firstborn males by the number of names, from a month old and upward. Of those that were numbered of them were 22,213. And the Most High spake unto Moses, saying, take the Levites instead of all the firstborn among the children of Israel, and the cattle of the Levites instead of their cattle, and the Levites shall be mine. I am the Lord.
So you'll see as y'all read on, y'all see why he did that. He said, first, I want to take, he said, but look, out of the tribes, I get Levi. All of whatever y'all have for them, I get that. I'm going to take care of them. And that's why the Levites were commanded to take tithes and different things. So now you got people that talk about, and we're going to hit these last few scriptures, we're going to close out. What they talk about is that, well, if the order of Aaron ain't know, what about Zadok? The son of Aaron, them, the high priest. Zadok, David talks about Zadok, but we just going to get right to Zadok. Give me Ezekiel 44:5, and then we're going to get Ezekiel 48. And everybody read all of Malachi chapter 2, and you're going to see, that's homework. So we got 2 homeworks. The rest of Testament of Levi, chapter 2 through 5, and we got the whole 2nd chapter of Malachi, and you're going to see Zadok has to recover for Levi falling off the wayside because of the vow that the original Levi made back in Genesis 20. Where was we at? 29.
In Numbers.
What Levi made the Genesis, Jubilees 32, 1 through 13, Genesis 29. So Levi born and under Melchizedek order. So Malachi 2 breaks that down, and it'll tell you they were separated up in Judah, but Zadok, because he kept my commandments. It's the only reason the Lord brought Zadok back in and Levi, because they still have to fulfill his vow. You a priest to me personally forever. You're still going to be under the order of Melchizedek, but out of all the tribes, you're special to me. Like Judah is the blessed tribe, but Levi is the tribe that the Lord's hold dear to him. Even though Messiah came through Judah, Levi's sworn vow cannot go away. He can't take it away, but he won't be the high priest in New Jerusalem, because Levi himself said, the chief Melchizedek is coming, who I shall be a prince under him. So Levi know what the deal is when Messiah come, because all of them said that when the true Melchizedek come, we know we're going to be underneath him no matter what my status used to be in the world. Let's get that real quick, y'all. So y'all read all Malachi chapter 2, but we're going to get Ezekiel 44. Start about first 5. Like, so y'all going to hit these last 2, y'all. We're going to close on out.
Yeah, want that 43 and 18?
What 43 and 18 say? You can read it real quick, like.
And he said unto me, Son of man, thus saith the Most High Yah. These are the ordinances of the altar in the day when thou shalt make it to offer burnt offerings thereupon, and to sprinkle blood thereon.
Yes, sir.
And thou shalt give to the priests, the Levites, that be of the seed of Zadok, which approach unto me to minister unto me, saith the Most High. A young bullock, and then it goes into the ordinances of the
Absolutely. Thank you, Elijah. So y'all, we see again that it's even in all of the last day prophecy, because we go to Ezekiel 39 and all that, or the valley of the dry bones, don't we? This after the dry bones, but what we're getting now is back when we get to Jerusalem and the lots are passed out to the children of Israel. So y'all, real quick, 44 and 5. Yeah, Ezekiel 44 and 5.
Go ahead, Elijah.
Okay. And the Most High said unto me, Son of man, mark well.
Do what?
Mark well. And behold with thine eyes, and hear with thine ears, all that I say unto thee concerning all the ordinances of the house of the Most High, and all the laws thereof. And mark well the entering in of the house, with every going forth of the sanctuary.
You see how the Most High keeps saying, mark it down what I tell you? Somebody keep hollering at you, talking about the Holy Spirit revealed to me. Just ask them simple question. Did you write that down? I will the next time. Well, what about this time? See, once you say that to them, they understand, but you got to stop them from doing that. Because it's just like Jeremiah said, he saved. He saved. Go ahead, bro.
As he told Isaiah chapter 30, verse 8,
yeah.
Write it down on the tablet.
That's what we're talking about.
That it may be in remembrance forever.
That's right. Let's read some more.
Verse 6.
Yeah.
Thou shalt say to the rebellious.
To the who?
Rebellious. Even to the house of Israel. Thus saith the Most High thy Elohim, O ye house of Israel, let it suffice you all your abominations, in that ye have brought into my sanctuary strangers, uncircumcised in heart.
Were they uncircumcised in?
In heart and uncircumcised in flesh, to be in my sanctuary, to pollute it, even my house. When ye offer my bread, the fat and the blood, and they have broken my covenant because of all your abominations.
Because of what?
All your abominations. And ye have not kept the charge of mine holy things, but ye have set keepers of my charge in my sanctuary for yourselves. Thus saith the Most High Yah, and this also in Ezra and Esdras, about when he took out, they had to find their names in the register of the Levites to be priests in the sanctuary. Thus saith the Most High Elohim, no stranger uncircumcised in heart nor uncircumcised in flesh shall enter into my sanctuary, of any stranger that is among the children of Israel. And the Levites that are gone away far from me, when Israel went astray, which went astray away from me after their idols, they shall even bear their iniquity.
So Levi going to get punished for going away from the law.
Yet they shall be ministers in my sanctuary, having charge at the gates of the house, and ministering to the house. They shall slay the burnt offering and the sacrifice for the people, and they shall stand before them to minister unto them.
And so people would ask them, well, how the Lord gonna do that? He just said they went away from my commandments, but he's giving future talk here as we get down to this verse 15, and you're gonna see why Levi, because the Most High can't go away from his vow. He said it's impossible for him to lie. He can't give the original Levi that vow that you're gonna be with me in the kingdom too, but under Messiah, you're coming back into Melchizedek, and then say, well, all your offspring tripped, so I can't give it to you. No. It don't work that way with the Lord. Once he say word is bond, word is bond. Just like word is bond with us, if you keep his commandments, you can go back to New Jerusalem. If you don't, there's an old fire pit for you. Isaiah 30, Tophat is of old. And there's much wood there and burning. And the breath of the Lord doth kindle it.
Because Tophat in the beginning was called a valley of slaughter.
Oh boy, you go new or old, it's up to you. Go ahead, bro.
Verse
11.
Yet they shall be ministers in my sanctuary, having charge at the gates of the house, and ministering to the house. They shall slay the burnt offering and the sacrifice for the people, and they shall stand before them to minister unto them, because they ministered unto them before their idols, and cursed and caused the house of Israel to fall into iniquity. Therefore have I lifted up mine hand against them, saith the Most High Elohim, and they shall bear their iniquity.
What they gonna do?
Bear their iniquity. And they shall not come near unto me to do the office of a priest unto me, nor to come near to any of my holy things in the most holy place, but they shall bear their shame and their abominations which they have committed. But I will make them keepers of the charge of the house, for all the service thereof, and for all that shall be done therein.
So he did the same thing with King Solomon. He said, because David, your father, served me, he said, I'm not going to put you to death. He said, but I'm going to take the kingdom from you. But I'm not going to put you to death. It's because of what your daddy did. But I ought to kill you for all that Molech worship and marrying all them strange wives. Let's read some more.
But the priests.
But the who?
The priests, the Levites, the sons of Zadok, that kept the charge of my sanctuary when the children of Israel went astray from me.
Who kept the charge?
The sons of Zadok. They shall come near to me to minister unto me, and they shall stand before me to offer unto me the fat and the blood, saith the Most High Elohim. They shall enter into my sanctuary, and they shall come near to my table to minister unto me, and they shall keep my charge. And it shall come to pass that when they enter in at the gates of the inner court, they shall be clothed with the linen garments, and no wool shall come upon them, whilst they minister in the gates of the inner court. And within they shall have linen bonnets upon their heads, and shall have linen breeches upon their loins. They shall not gird themselves with anything that causes sweat.
So y'all read the rest of that, and that's why you had to wear linen. Linen ain't just to be wearing white in the summertime before Labor Day. Linen stops sweat. Do y'all know what linen made from? A plant. The flax plant.
Flax plant.
This is linen.
That's it. That came from a plant. Just like cotton come from a plant.
Yeah.
Everything we need comes from the earth. You ain't going up there. You can't wear those clothes. You have to wear clothes down here. But you'll get spiritual clothes from up there like Adam did, but you have to be free of sin. Right. If you don't, you have to wear these clothes down here that rot away.
You'll stain that precious garment. You can't stain that precious garment.
Y'all white ain't white as gray.
No.
Yes,
Right, absolutely. Because this white down here, you can get a brand new white shirt and throw it next to snow, which is the whitest substance that ever hit earth, and it'll look like pea stains on a brand new white t-shirt compared to snow. There's nothing whiter than snow. It ain't a bleach on a market that's whiter than snow.
And early in the morning, you can't even look at snow.
It'll blind. Ezekiel 48, 11, and 12. Y'all, we're going to close on out. Y'all read all that Malachi 2 because it's very interesting. You're going to understand about Zadok the priest. Zadok the priest covered Levi's transgressions because he was the Levite that kept the commandments, but he will not be in charge. It's still going to be Melchizedek. Zadok just going to be a Levitical Melchizedek priest like his father was. Let's read some more. What you got right there real quick, Tubai?
Tried and true in the chat asks, this may be off topic, but before class ends, could you help me to understand why 6 days shalt thou labor is not considered and counted as commandment? I don't understand.
Say what?
They saying 6 days shalt thou labor is not considered or counted as commandment. I don't understand.
What do you mean it's not counted as commandment?
They talk on certain individuals. They talk.
You have to work 6 days.
No, you would have to talk to him and say it ain't a commandment.
Now what he's saying is that why is that not considered a commandment to work 6 days and rest on the Sabbath?
It is a commandment.
It is a commandment.
Yeah, that's what I'm
You
saying.
have to ask those that say that.
Exactly. I think they were
Right.
somebody that he talking to.
I mean,
like,
Leviticus 23 start off saying that what happened in the garden, Genesis, the Hebrews 4th chapter, the Messiah say, let's enter into that rest.
Yes.
6 days of labor, y'all, and look, this goes back to
2nd Ezra chapter 2.
78th chapter of Jasher. Moses went out when he was 18 years old and seen the heat putting on the children of Israel. He went to Pharaoh because he was still under Pharaoh's house before he got cast out. He like, you killing them. You killing them. Please don't do them like that. You working them like dogs. They gonna die. We was working 7 days a week.
Right.
And it say, in there it say, so the Pharaoh wrote a proclamation. The Israelites should have 1 day off from henceforth. And it said the thing was from the Lord, because he was getting ready to set us up so that when we come out of Egypt, we would already know beforehand how to take 1 day off. 7 days a week will kill you. Your immune system will never recover.
Trust me,
It will never recover 7 days of work. Your body will shut down on you. You'll have a coma or you'll stroke out.
I worked 12 days straight, and man, I was tore down.
Somebody else finna enjoy that check.
I'm
here to pick up Elijah's check.
I had to take off. You know,
And he
slave
said,
master don't care. Shit, he just want product.
but he's saying that 6 days thou shalt not labor is not considered and counted as that's the fourth commandment.
Somebody told
Is who
him.
they talking to?
Right.
Somebody that
Well, see, that's that Hebrew Christianity again that keeps removing judgment. The Bible tamper with, they know that removes judgment. They're a triple high priest, and everything we just been reading, we got one high priest, right? How they high priests?
Right.
They're high priests. They smoking
Yeah,
something.
they high. Yeah.
They drinking something.
They hide in giraffe stuff.
Boy, yes sir. Way up high. Let's read some more. Let's get this, y'all, and close on out. Ezekiel 48, 11, and 12.
That was Elisha.
All right, Ezekiel 48, 11, and 12.
Need to back it up one? If not, you good. And y'all, this is when we pass out the lots. Y'all start at 48:1. You'll see the lots of Israel being passed out. Here to Zebulun, you get the lots that were promised to you in the beginning to y'all trip. Now we get down to verse 11 and 12. Go ahead, Lucky.
It shall be for the priests that are sanctified of the sons of Zadok.
Who? The priests of the sons of who?
Let me go back to 10.
Okay.
9.
Okay.
The oblation that ye shall offer unto the Most High shall be of 20,000 in length, and of 10,000 in breadth. And for them, even for the priests, shall be this holy oblation. Toward the north 20,000 in length, and toward the west 10,000 in breadth. And toward the east 10,000 in breadth, and toward the south 20,000 in length. And the sanctuary of the Most High shall be in the midst thereof. It shall be for the priests that are sanctified of the sons of Zadok, which have kept my charge.
What did they do?
Kept my charge, which went not astray when the children of Israel went astray.
See, we go back to it again and keep saying why is that because they didn't go astray. They hung with me like when Moses said, who on my side? Zadok and his sons is still keeping the commandments. No matter what their brethren have done, we still hanging on.
Right.
So this is when you understand what Paul was saying, all Israel is not Israel. Only Israel who keep the commandments and keep his charge.
Right. Just
You
like
can't keep a charge if the Bible tampered with. It's impossible.
Just like Ezra was a priest.
Yeah.
And he was breaking down how he had to cleanse out the sanctuary or the office of the priesthood of those who priests were bringing in their partners and perverting the judgment of the priesthood. So Ezra was in the process of cleaning that whole thing out.
Yeah.
And he told them they had to come and he had to find their names in the register of Levi for them to be priests. So he cleansed out all that. You can read about that in Ezra chapter 9 and 2nd Ezra chapter 9.
Yes, sir.
9. So he was a Levitical priest who also stood upon the pulpit and read the laws and statutes to the children of Israel.
Read down to 14.
Gave them understanding.
You in verse 11.
Verse 11.
Verse 12. Verse 12.
I didn't finish that.
Okay.
It shall be for the priests that are sanctified of the sons of Zadok, which have kept my charge, which went not astray with the children of Israel went astray as the Levites went astray. And this oblation of the land that is offered shall be unto them a thing most holy by the border of the Levites. And over against the border of the priests, the Levites shall have 20,000 in length and 10,000 in breadth. All the length shall be 20,000 and the breadth 10,000.
So y'all, what we're talking about is when the lots are passed out. If y'all don't believe it, read Revelations, this homework too, 21. Go 9 through 13 and see, don't it match up with this same Ezekiel 48? Start about verse 23 on down and see, don't those gates match up exactly the same that Revelation 21, 9, 13 is saying, through 13 is saying. So I'm saying this Ezekiel 48, start about, pick it up at verse 23. As for the rest of the tribes, from the east side unto the west, Benjamin shall have a portion. And then go to Revelation 21, 9 and 13 and see, don't it say the exact same thing. We're not going to live in New Jerusalem. That's the temple area. We go there to worship. We in Judah, we go through the gate of Judah. You leave there, you go back to these lots right here.
Right. To your land.
To your land where your mansion is.
The land of your inheritance.
The New Jerusalem is only 144 furlongs all the way in a perfect square. It's 144. It's the size of Texas. We got 40 million here in America of Israelites. We got 11 other tribes. How you think that all of them gonna fit into Texas? Y'all, we'll be like this up in there. Bro, pass me that. It would be that crowded if we lived in the city.
That ain't gonna work.
But you won't live in the city. You just go there to worship like we always did. Get it?
Yeah.
Got it?
Got it.
Because you'll read all through the scriptures where it says, and we went to Jerusalem to celebrate the feast.
Yeah.
Or we went here to celebrate. They always went to Jerusalem to celebrate the feast. But after the feast, they went back to their cribs in their land.
Yes, sir.
The lands of their inheritance.
Right. Y'all enjoy that feast today?
Yeah.
No, I did, both spiritually and physically.
Most definitely.
Stand again a minimum.
What you got?
Yeah, the sister tried and true say, someone said it's not one if the six
Of the 612.
if it's I'm sorry, let me read that again. It says someone said it is not one if the 612, and I'm in error to say working 6 days is not It's not
What?
sound doctrine.
I mean,
I think
maybe you
we
need to
can
read that a little. What? Read that, somebody. I mean, it don't make sense. I'm just asking, what are you saying? Sum it up in a nutshell.
Somebody else told him it wasn't part of the 612.
No. What are you saying? What's 612? What y'all talking about?
613.
Oh, 613 laws.
They might be missing that.
See, the problem is the 613 laws you're getting through the wilderness because of bad behavior. Fringes is 613, but what did fringes come from? Why do we have to wear fringes? What caused fringes to hit the earth?
Presumption was sin. If you read when the fringes came in, it came right behind a man going out after the law was given and gathering sticks to worship the Queen of Heaven.
It's not
Right
part of the
after he was given the
See, but
command.
they still stuck in Mount Sinai. See, this is what we're talking about now. We done been through this whole class showing Melchizedek and Levi starting at the beginning, and they right back into Aaron and Mount Sinai.
Instead of reaching back, I think he was understanding.
Right,
I think
they
he was getting
saying,
it.
I say it's commandment to work the 6 days and then and the Shabbat, but they say I'm going against the scholars, whoever they are.
Scholars.
And I'm wrong for thinking it, but all praises to the Most High.
Keep thinking like you're thinking.
Right.
They're wrong.
Stop
They
talking.
won't prove.
Stop talking to them.
Make them prove Genesis 2. Yes, ma'am.
We're talking about Judaism.
Huh?
That's Judaism. What he's talking about, he's mixing it with Judaism.
We got going on.
Yeah. I mean, what they're doing is basically what they keep doing is going back to the law that had us in trouble. You keep going back to being made to do the Sabbath. You shouldn't have to be made to do it because it should be up here. The Father worked 6 days creating the earth, and then he did what? Rest. Did he stop resting? Did he stop watching planet Earth? No. Did he stop commanding? No. So he got through with the physical work. Y'all understand what we saying?
It's a dog. Dog outside? No, dude got a dog.
No, they had it the other day. They just walked through.
He got a dog. He's keeping that karate one.
All right. I'm showing out.
Now when you go running back in here,
Right with man for me.
and the dog still on your leg.
But to whoever that was, we understand what you're saying. But don't get into those things. Make them prove it and make them just ask what priesthood they're under when they ask the question. Do y'all understand if y'all get the same thing, y'all just come down to priesthood. A necessity of the priesthood was changed. Christ said the Sabbath was made for man, not man for the Sabbath. Tell them to go find out what that means, like Christ said. Now y'all go figure out what that means.
So that was the first thing that you taught me when I got first here.
Yes, ma'am.
Sabbath.
Sabbath was made for man, not man for Sabbath. What you gonna do if you look? And then most of these people don't have no job, so they resting from resting. I mean,
You don't get no
so what you like this for 6 days playing the game, and then you recline it like this on the Sabbath and play the game?
That's your rest.
You can believe they ain't talking no labor, whoever telling the sister that.
They should be tired of resting.
They should be tired of resting. Don't you get tired of resting? You can get tired of resting.
Too much sleep.
Don't nothing come to the slow.
No.
All right, family, we're going to get this closing prayer, and it's with the Most High's permission. And in the name of His only begotten Son, our Lord and Savior, Yahushua HaMashiach. And we know him as Jesus the Christ, y'all. Long live the King. Long live the King. Reading in the book of Psalms. In the 62nd chapter, it reads, Truly my soul waiteth upon Yah. From him cometh my salvation. He only is my rock
Yes, sir.
and my salvation.
Yes, sir.
He is my defense. I shall not be greatly moved. How long will ye imagine mischief against a man? Ye shall be slain, all of you. As a bowing wall shall ye be, and as a tottering fence. They only consult to cast him down from his excellency. They delight in lies. They bless with their mouth, but they curse inwardly. Selah.
Selah.
My soul, wait thou only upon Yah, for my expectation is from him. He only is my rock and my salvation. He is my defense. I shall not be moved. In Yah is my salvation and my glory. The rock of my strength and my refuge is in Yah. Trust in him at all times, ye people. Pour out your heart before him. Yah is a refuge for us. Selah.
Selah.
Surely men of a low degree are vanity, and men of high degree are a lie. To be laid in the balance, they are altogether lighter than vanity. Trust not in oppression, and become not vain in robbery. If riches increase, set not your heart upon them. Yah has spoken once. Twice have I heard this, that power belongeth unto Yah. Also unto thee, O Master, belongeth mercy. For thou renderest to every man according to his work.
Whoa.
Hallelujah!
Selah! Appreciate it, y'all. If y'all got a shekel or two, we greatly appreciate it. Shouts out to y'all once again, y'all. We need prayer for the Hill House. Shouts out to Sister Battelle out there, the Lemon family, Betty and Ron. Shouts out to all the people that continually help us and support us. Y'all know who y'all are. OGDH, Sister Tarsha Robinson, all y'all. Sister Stacy, all y'all. Y'all know who y'all are. Thank y'all very much.
And sister and brother and elders and coaches and imams and all of you. We love you.
That's what's up.
I'll call you, Mama.
Shabbat shalom, Imam.
Call me, Mama. Let me know what you need, all right? Okay.
No.